Yo, what's going on, DSA community? We're back, baby. We got an exciting one for you. We got a couple DSA members, and we're going to talk some Lions. You know, it's been a while, so we're pretty hype. Just going to start off introducing who's on the panel. We'll start off with Luke G. What's up, Luke?
Hey, salute, people. Let's get ready to talk some good football. I want positive energy, positive vibes, man. I'm in a really good place right now. So if you not, then don't say nothing. Just sit here and listen and take in all this positive energy.
All right. Next up, we got my partner in crime, Real. You know, what's going on, man? Long time no talk.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, man. It has been a long time no talk. Yeah, definitely with all of you guys, man. It sucked. Just the situation the Lions have been in since the season. So, but as well as just been busy as hell. But yeah, good to be back. Good to be talking. It's gonna be a fun one today.
Yeah, dude, I feel you, man. I feel like after the first couple of weeks, everyone pretty much clocked out, and we're like, nope, I'm done with the Lions. I don't want to talk Lions because
Not
it was
me.
bro, it was depressing.
Yeah, not Luke.
Not me.
Luke's still pumping on videos left and right.
And I wasn't upset because they did exactly what I expect them to do. I get mad when they don't meet my expectations.
Look, I feel that, but you still got to have expectations. You know, I always aim for the stars, and shit was depressing.
that six round pick for Griffin was awesome.
Oh boy.
OMG, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's good, man? What's good? What's going on with you?
Not much, man. Just excited, right? We haven't been on in a while, so me and Real are ready to talk some football, catch up with some of the, what you guys are thinking in terms of the Lions, how you feel. So it's good to be back,
right.
man. So,
oh yeah, it feels real good. I've been gone for a quick little minute, man. I've been working hard out here, boy. Woo! Glad to be here, man.
2021, man. Rising up, baby.
right.
So we're gonna start with a question and see what y'all think. So the first topic of the day is just gonna be, what do you think the Lions are gonna do with Galladay? They said we'd have an answer soon. I'll bounce that one over to you, Mike. What are you thinking in terms of, Galladay? Are we gonna sign him? Are we gonna tag him? What are we gonna do?
I think we're gonna tag him. It just everything points to tagging him. Because we can't, obviously, everybody knows we can't just let him walk. We've done that in the past, letting guys like Sue walk and stuff like that. Man, we can't let guys that high caliber of talent just walk. So we're gonna sign him, whether it's a tag or trade. I think they're gonna try and work out a deal, but if something's not done, by, let's say, training camp or something, I think they're going to trade him. So yeah, I think the tag is coming though.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, one of our biggest flaws is either you don't let the player walk and don't get anything for him, or you try and keep him on and you wear him down. So it would be nice to get something. So Real, what do you think about Galladay and tagging him or signing him?
Yeah, man. First, I want to say what's up, everybody in the chat, man. Funky, Angelo, Malik, Mills, DMAP, Zoom, Izzy. What's going on, everybody? It's glad to see you guys. And if you could hit the like button, also that'd be great. But what I think about Galladay, look, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we didn't sign him, if we couldn't get a trade going. Because if you tag him, you kind of have to trade him, at least if you are in rebuild, which in my opinion, they are. Some people might say, Jared Goff, he's a transitional quarterback or something like that. And maybe we are going to be aiming for the, division and stuff. But in my opinion, this is more of a rebuild than a retool like they want to show, like they want to say it is. And I think that it would make more sense to only tag him if you're going to have a deal on the table to trade him. And if not, I wouldn't be that surprised if they just let him walk, because it is a rebuild and we don't need an expensive receiver in a rebuild.
Yeah, and everyone's going to interpret that differently, right? I had this quick, conversation with Luke, and it was just like, well, is it a retool? Is it a rebuild? What is it? And everyone's going to interpret that differently, and when I look at it, you're not supposed to spend a lot of money on players when you're trying to kind of fix things, right? The first thing you're going to do is fix your contracts and fix your cap space. And to tag a wide receiver and pay him, the most money, I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
Right. Hey, real quick. Can I just let everybody know that Lucas sat here quiet and I'm nervous. I'm nervous because Luke ain't said a damn word.
Listen,
that's why I saved him for last, baby.
I'm just listening.
Luke, what you think, man? You think we're gonna tag him, let him walk? What are we gonna do?
He's gone. Listen, it boils down to the statement that Brad Holmes talked about today, which is I'm going to do what's in best for the Lions and what's in best for the player. What's best for the player is for him to get the hell on and get the contract and the money that he wants. He deserves it. He was a 3rd round pick. He deserves the big money he's going to get. He definitely exceeded a 3rd round pick talent. So fine. But for the Lions, that don't mean we got to be the ones to pay him. And we shouldn't. And this draft tells you that you don't have to. There is receivers in this draft that you can replace him with. You feel good about Kenny Galladay, then Terry from Florida State would be just as comparable. Okay. Maybe you wanted to get somebody with more speed. You still can get Waddles. You got options. You got Kadarius Toney. You got Moore from Purdue. So there's options. But the truth is I'm not buying this idea of a tag and trade. That's ridiculous. This is a renovation. This is not a damn rebuild. It's a renovation. And the evidence has been put. If this is a rebuild, they would have took an offer that allowed for them to get picks this year, right? Like they'd have said, "Oh, I want to get the picks this year." These are renovations, and so when you're doing renovations, you're trying to use as little draft capital as possible to fill in spots. Why else would they do this? They got a replacement for Stafford, somebody that everybody wanted gone, minus me, Real. That's it.
Yep.
Oh, that's it. Me and Real were the only ones that was like, you're gonna move on from him and you're gonna regret it. And now look what happened. Before a man even took a snap, they hate him. As far as I'm concerned, Kenny Galladay is out the door, and they should let him walk. There's no reason to maintain him or keep him. It just doesn't make sense to me.
But if you pick a better pick, then why not?
Yeah,
right.
I'm sorry. So no, you're good. So I've looked into this and everything, man. And our guy Math Bomb, fantastic analytics guy. He said that like the odds of actually tagging and trading are very slim. And then you look at the fact that the wide receiver class is deep. Every single year, the last couple of years, it's been crazy deep, and there's just stars popping up left and right. So first of all, who's going to give a 1st round pick, 2nd round pick for Kenny Galladay when they could get a rookie that is going to produce for the same amount that's going to cost them nothing? So I look at that aspect, and then I look at it and I'm just like, well, we should have traded his ass when I said all of last year arguing with J-Mo. Thank God J-Mo's not here, because I literally said we are not paying this man. You need to trade him right now. And if we would have during the season to a contender, we probably could have got a 2nd round pick for him. We probably could have got a 1st round pick for him, because he is very talented and he could have helped like the Ravens kind of go over the top, or maybe the Colts give them a true, deep threat or contested catch guy that could have really helped them in the red zone. But we didn't. It's too late. I don't see us getting anything out of him. And it would be even more of a shame for us to tag him, not be able to move him, and then just have him there playing for like $16 million.
He probably wouldn't even play. He didn't play last year.
I suspect it. I said this on many shows, and I know people were like, "No, man, he really hurt," and I'm like, "But is he?" Like, is he though? Like for real? Like, let's be honest. Like, is he really hurt? Because per the rules, he only got to play so many games, and if he's hurt, then he's hurt, right? Like. The truth is, first of all, let me just say congratulations to Andrew for being able to learn from past experience and know when to hold him and when to fold him. Because he also wanted us to keep a certain head coach for a 3rd year, which I basically told him, okay, then. But I think you also wanted a certain quarterback this year too. That year we ended up taking that corner that we shouldn't have took, that I said was overrated, but whatever. That's none of my business.
Me too. I just got to fact check you real quick. For the most part, yes. I wanted to see Patricia, obviously a 3rd year, because he showed some promise. It was a huge mistake. After the first couple of weeks, I was like, nah, bro, cut the ties, have some fun with it, whatever. But I never wanted a quarterback last year. And I said, if we were to take one, I wanted Herbert, which obviously I was correct. And I said, personally, I wanted Simmons. And if not Simmons, I wanted Tristan Wirfs. So when you look at it,
Oh,
Tristan
okay.
Wirfs was a badass
he was
tackle.
saying.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
saying.
he was.
Yeah, I remember that, but I kind of remember when you was on that get rid of Stafford train, and I was like, for who? So I remember that conversation. That's what I was like. Wait a minute, you wanted this guy gone, and I was like, well, who you replacing him with? And you was like, anybody, and I was like, well, all right. Now
I don't know about all that, Luke.
But hold on, real quick.
Go ahead.
Why y'all? Okay, first, see, I was about to say something, but you just said something real, so I gotta address that real quick. Jared Goff is not the greatest, but he's not just anybody. Like, he ain't just like, some watch the, you know what I'm saying, bum from off the street. Like, he's a credible quarterback. So he might not have the arm talent that Stafford has, but he's been in 2 Pro Bowls, and those are individual achievements. So
Pro Bowl is hot garbage. Nobody cares.
yeah,
about
Man,
yeah,
look,
but
the
I'm
only
saying
thing about
individual achievements though, those are individual achievements though. Your whole team don't go to the Pro Bowl.
No,
You know
but
what
what I'm saying is this though. I don't care about Pro Bowls, and all I'm pointing out to you is this. The only thing you needed to say, OMG, is simply this: Jared Goff is your quarterback.
Yeah,
he's the quarterback for the future. You wanted a certain person going. He's gone. He's the quarterback of the future. No complaining, no crying. It is what it is.
Okay,
I'm tell you right now.
one thing. Well, why would we cry? I mean, we only have 4 winning seasons. I mean, in the last 12 years. So I mean, the worst you can do is just have 2 more losing seasons. I mean, we ain't never had that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, we had 2 more losing seasons.
Hey, Mike, I swear to God, that was the truest statement.
Yeah, like, come on, man. You're like, Stafford had 4 winning seasons, so if we replace him and at worst we have 2 more losing seasons. So
let me correct you.
Now we've had 9 out of 13.
Let me just correct you a little bit though. Let me just correct you a little bit. Stafford did not have 4 winning seasons. Y'all have to get away from this TV media stream way of thinking. You show me one quarterback who's played offense, played defense, and won Super Bowls by himself. You can't, because it doesn't exist. It's a team sport. So we got to stop with this Stafford won crap. Okay, ain't nobody ever said Rex Grossman won a Super Bowl or Rex Grossman went to a Super Bowl. No, what they say is the Bears went to the Super Bowl. Rex Grossman, I think 4 of those games in the press conferences, like, thank God for a great defense. I was terrible.
Right. So no, I agree.
So I'm just saying, let's just keep it in perspective.
But where would the Packers be without Aaron Rodgers?
They'll be just fine if you got the right coach.
Ooh, no, they would not be with Kumaro.
They won one Super Bowl. They won one Super Bowl and have been winning a division in a weak division. That's nothing special to talk about. Let's keep it 100. Aaron Rodgers off of that team. Everybody always want to point out stupid stuff.
When you win with receivers like Jake Kumaro and Marcus Valdez-Scantling, you know what I'm saying, and you making them like big time players.
He didn't win. Man. He didn't win.
He went 13-3 and won the division though.
Hey, they have Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, Zadarius Smith. Cornerbacks. Like what?
Wait. I remember, I can't think of the coach who said this. He says there's always one winner and 31 losers, right? And what he's trying to allude to is that if you don't have that, if you're not hosting up that trophy at the end, who cares? You know who had a good season? Mahomes. But guess what? His team got to the Super Bowl and they lost in a very terrible fashion. He didn't play well. And all I'm pointing out to you is don't tell me about him when he's going up against a team like the Detroit Lions who had Matt Patricia as a head coach. You know, when you sitting there talking about a team that they're barely beating the Vikings, and the Vikings had half their team out, a whole revamped defense, nothing special here. And the Bears had a head coach who forget that they got a legitimate running back and don't throw it. The division is not a threat to him. And what I mean by that is this the same guy. He's so great. He got 1 Super Bowl win, and he has always had receiving cores. And it's funny how people want to change the narrative. But my point I'm trying to make is we have to get away from ESPN think. It's not that the quarterback won or lost a game, but the Lions have not won or lost a game. That's how it has to be. That's how it should be.
I do agree with you, Luke. I do agree with you. But this ain't ESPN thinking. This is thinking from years of watching the game and being like, damn, he just threw a pick when we could have tied the game up. We're
going down the rabbit hole, folks. We
really are. We're going down the rabbit hole on this one. Seriously.
So I'm muting you guys just for a second so we can get on to the next topic.
You muted him? Damn, that's
Yeah.
harsh, bro.
Hey, it's all good, bro. It's just one of those topics that always, gets everyone heated. So we're gonna jump on the next one. But before we do, me and Real teamed up with Manscaped. All right. So at the bottom of the screen, read that off. So pretty much, our channel today is being brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. I think that's pretty funny, but that's what they got for us. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted everywhere. 2 million worldwide. So pretty much, when you guys watch YouTubers and all this stuff, these guys are popping up left and right. So if you want, get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code REAL at manscaped.com. 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code REAL, unlock your confidence, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Just a little tidbit. I used it. They sent us some products, got that lawnmower. It's pretty nice. It's waterproof, has a light. Didn't really have any problems with it. They kind of, sent out, a box, the bathroom kit, a bunch of different things. So
yeah, guys, look, I mean, we're just going to be like 100% transparent with you guys. Look, we only have like 500 subscribers, but somehow the Manscaped guys saw our picture and we're like, damn, these guys are hairy as heck and they need some Manscaped. So they sent us their product for free. So we got some free stuff, which is awesome. It's always awesome. And pretty much they just want us to tell you about it. And we did. And listen, if you guys use that code, you get 20% off. If you guys really want a cool new buzzer, because look, I mean, you can always use an upgrade, but if you want it, cool. If you don't, we got some free product anyway. So it's a win-win.
True. So anyways, we're going to jump on to the next topic. This one is pretty much going to follow up with the Galladay thing. If we were to take a wide receiver in the first round, who would you want it to be and why? So I'll throw that one over to Luke.
There's only one receiver, I think, in my opinion, that's worthy of a top 10 pick, and that's Jamar Chase. There's nobody. Jamar Chase reminds me so much of Larry Fitzgerald. It's not even normal. Like, Jamar Chase hands are like go and look at his catch percentage, man. That dude hands is as short as they come, and his route running. His route running is 100% disgusting. I'm talking about Devontae Adams disgusting. Like, that dude will run a route and will set you up to think that he going outside and you about them hills to the outside, and nothing he don't cut inside and it's across the field. And the only thing you can do is watch his numbers from behind as he's running away from you. To me, I think everybody is buying off into the hype of Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner. Oh, Alabama this and Alabama that, blah, 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 blah. Remember Darius Hayward-Bay? When everybody went crazy when he ran off there? Remember him? People forget this. And to me, that's only one. And that's Jamar Chase.
Well, Luke, what do you say to the people talking about him taking plays off, though?
Who?
Jamar Chase, man.
Listen, bro. Listen.
There are plays. There is tape where he is just standing there, not blocking, and on short routes, he just doesn't even give the effort. I'm not talking about every play, but there are plays, and that scares me because we're not going to be a winning team. You know what I mean? Like, if he's on a really hyped team right now, then he'll probably be in the game. But for a team that's probably not going to be that great in the short term, I feel like he's going to want to take plays off. He's not going to want to give it his all because we're going to suck.
I put it like this. You're doing a lot of assuming here.
No, right? I saw that. I saw him on tape.
Listen. I'm not saying that what you saw on tape was not true. But your assumption that he's going to get here and he's not going to be motivated because we're going to suck, that's what I'm saying. It's an assumption. The thing about him is he's a competitor. And so I did watch that tape, and I found that two of the films that I saw where that happened, I said, yo, the dude was on the field, and they just wouldn't take him off the field. And I think he was gassed, and he was like, F it. Now, does that matter to me? Yes, because the small things make a difference. However, when Jamar Chase hits the league, he wants to be the next. He wants to be better than Jerry. He wants to be better than Calvin. He's going to show up and show out, and he's going to perform. I have no doubts about that. Okay? Because the one thing about him, he's a competitor. So, but if you go back and you watch the film, not last year because he sat out, but the year before that, some of the routes they was running, the score was like 47-15. He like, why am I finna still run this route? They can't come back.
I saw him work. Is it AJ Terrell that was drafted this year? Was it? He worked him.
He did Terrell dirty. He did Diggs dirty.
Diggs too. Yeah.
The only cornerback that he didn't do dirty was Cameron Dantzler. That's the only one. The rest of them worked their ass. Cameron Dantzler was like, I'm just gonna have to beat you at the line of scrimmage because if once you get past the line of scrimmage, it's all bad. But outside of that, he beat the rest of them. So I'm just saying, there's only one receiver that, in my opinion, is Jamar Chase.
Okay. Real, since you kind of jumped in on there, what do you think? Is there a receiver you're taking in the first round? And, if so, who would it be?
Yeah, I mean, the two big names are Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith, I think his name is. Yeah, I like both of them. I think they're both really good, but I don't like drafting a wide receiver in the first round. I've made that clear before, my stance on what you should draft in the first round and the positions and stuff like that. I just don't think a receiver should be taken, but I guess Jamar Chase would be my pick if I had to pick one.
Okay. Mike, so I'm going to throw it to you, but if Jamar Chase is already taken, is there a receiver that you are taking?
No, you can't reword the question. Yeah. No, you got to ask everybody. So listen. I'm gonna give you a two-part answer real quick, okay?
All right.
Okay. Now, 84 catches for 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns. Wow. 21.2 yard average for Jamar Chase. Wow. That's like, once you say that, there is no other receiver like that. You know what I'm saying? That's like, man, is he gonna be the next Megatron type of thing? Like for those numbers from that standpoint. But the only thing about that whole thing is it was 2019, and I'm gonna tell you why that concerns me. Okay, it's because Le'Veon Bell, okay, was the number 1 or 2 running back in the NFL. He took a year off and he's not the same at all. You know what I'm saying? So while that might not be Jamar Chase, you still take that risk of that player losing a little half a step. And if he loses a little half a step or drops a little bit in production, I don't want him at number 7. Okay? So that's my answer with that. Okay? Now, I will take Devontae Smith. And you know why I would take him at 7? Because he is a playmaker, okay? Like, he is a playmaker. He can take it from behind the line of scrimmage and make plays. He can run the whole route tree, make plays. He can take slants and go and make plays. And I know he's skinny. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of players who came to the pros who have been undersized, not the thickest of build, and are still playmakers, okay? So that, you know what I'm saying? And the coaching staff that we have, I don't doubt that they're going to get him physically ready to play. So Devontae Smith is the only non-quarterback or offensive tackle that I would take in the top 10. You go now.
Can we stop this comparison? He could be the next Calvin Johnson. Like, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing. Calvin wasn't even the most dominating receiver in his own era. So let's stop that. Okay, there were other receivers dominated in his era, his entire era. Now we got that,
bro. What?
Andre Johnson,
why, bro?
Larry
Luke, why are you just dropping bombs, bro? This is the Lions.
I didn't mean the whole NFL. I meant
no. What I'm saying is this. We got to stop doing this. He can be the next disc player. I don't want the next disc player. We didn't win with those disc player. The next Barry, we didn't win with the next Barry. We're not going to win with the next Calvin. I need somebody who understands that I'm about to be my own dog. I'm going to create my own legacy. I'm going to create my own brand. They're going to be talking about he's going to be the next Jamar Chase. And to me, Jamar Chase is exactly that. We're talking about stats, right? Because this is where he went to go to and talk about 2019. Yeah, he sat out a year. A lot of players sat out this year. I think it's going to hurt them, but who's more pro-ready? You talked about Mr. Smith being a playmaker. Okay, I'm going to show you playmaking ability. Devontae Smith had 117 catches. I'm going to say that again. He had 117 catches in his Heisman year. Jamar Chase had 84 in his best year, which was 2019. Devontae Smith had 1,800 receiving yards. 1856 to be exact. Jamar Chase had 1780. Minus, keep in mind, he didn't even have the 117 catches that this guy had. 20 touchdowns for Jamar Chase. And when you go over to Devontae Smith, who they force-fed the goddamn ball, okay, he got 24. My only point I'm trying to make to you is this. Jamar Chase is so far ahead of Devontae Smith that not only will you have your head spinning, there are people who have made videos showing you side-by-side comparisons that, look, Devontae Smith looked good at Alabama. But at the end of the day, Jamar Chase has been doing corners dirty the entire time. Devontae Smith just started to come up, and that's because they force-fed the ball to him. Now, if they didn't force-feed the ball to him, because they was trying to get another Heisman winner, right? You know, the politics is in play. I'm telling you, if they take Devontae Smith at 7, I'm gonna come back to you and say, when he's not who you think he is, I'm gonna say, this your fault. You was praising him, hyping him up because he won that stupid Heisman in a year where half the people was out. Who's the best cornerback he went against? And you're gonna say, I don't know, and I'm gonna say that's my point exactly. Nobody cares because the best cornerback he could have went against is on his damn team. Okay, well, he went up against him every day in practice.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, Luke, obviously, like we're all gonna love Jamar Chase. The only problem with that is I don't see him getting I don't see him falling to us. You know, I could see the Eagles taking him. I could see a couple of teams.
3. I see him going to the Dolphins at 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go to Dolphins or the Eagles. You know, they both are very in need of a wide receiver. And Jamar Chase is very, you know, he's a dominant receiver. You don't see guys like that often. And he made Justin Jefferson the second wide receiver on his team. And this dude just freaking went off. You know, he could have easily been rookie of the year because how good of a season he had. Yeah. So that's why I kind of changed it after you both said Jamar Chase. I'm like, man, obviously.
Right.
You know?
But hey, and there's something I just want to add on to that real quick though. Because you said Devontae Smith came up out of nowhere. Well, Jamar Chase's season before that year was 23 catches for 313 yards.
Okay.
3 touchdowns. Okay. So that's I just want to make that clear. And then 2, you won't have to see Devontae Smith. How many catches did he catch behind the line of scrimmage? I don't think Jamar Chase did a lot of catching behind the line of scrimmage.
No, that's true. That's definitely true.
So Devontae Smith did a lot of catching out the backfield. He did a lot of screens and a lot of stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, they did force you in the ball, Luke G. You are right. They force-fed him the ball like
wait a minute. Hold on.
But he caught a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage.
Hold on. Okay. Did you just read Jamar Chase freshman stats?
Luke, I read the year before
his freshman year.
His
freshman year. Okay, let's talk about your guys' freshman year. Let's talk about
that. But no, I'm not. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you acting like you saying that he had one good year and came out of nowhere.
Listen, no. What I'm saying is this. Jamar Chase's name was mentioned in his freshman year as being a dog because people saw that he had certain attributes that automatically translate to the pro level. When you go to Devontae Smith, a guy who had Jerry Jeudy next to him, a guy that had other talented receivers around him, a run game around him, all the stuff around him, that guy right there should have been doing so much more, and he wasn't. And it's just the reality of it. They put all their attention on Jerry Jeudy. That was the one who they put their attention on. Now, Jeudy left. They started force-feeding this guy because they wanted another Heisman Trophy winner, and they knew that they wasn't getting it at the running back spot. It just wasn't happening. And they definitely wasn't getting it at the quarterback spot. So,
I mean, he was making plays. Like, they're feeding him because he was making plays, man. Nick Saban wants to win more than he wants a Heisman.
I feel you. I'm not knocking that. But the question was, the thing that I said was, the only receiver that's worthy of that pick at 7 is Jamar Chase.
Right. So just to kind of wrap it up, you know, on this topic, I'll be real with you guys. You also got to factor in the fact that my man had Joe Burrow. Like, he had Joe Burrow and a crazy amount of talent on that offense, you know. And then you look at Alabama, just to kind of play, you know, devil's advocate, they had Henry Ruggs, they had Jerry Jeudy, they had Jalen Waddle, they had Devontae Smith. They had too many receivers. So it's hard for them to break out. You know, it's pretty much just whoever's the oldest in their class, that one's freaking, you know, the top ranked receiver, and then they bump up the next one, you know, as to where like LSU, you know, like you had Higgins, you had you know, Chase, you had Justin Jefferson, but like at the end of the day you had Burrow and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you know, like
Right.
There's just so much damn talent.
Yeah, Garbage Jones throwing two down.
Justin Jefferson was over there, but guess what though? None of that matters. You go through and you look in the league and in the college ranks, Jamar Chase is up there, if not number one, for most separated receivers. If anything, Joe Burrow looked good and better because of Jamar Chase. Because all you do is get the damn ball there. The dude was open. You're not gonna see too many contested catches with Jamar Chase, bro.
Right.
No, yeah. I agree with you 100%. I'm not saying that Jamar Chase is not that guy. I'm just saying when you come from taking a year off, I can't waste a top 10 pick on you.
I can respect that. That's all. I respect that.
Right. So, moving on to the next topic, is there a free agent on our roster, like someone that is a pending free agent or a free agent out there that you would be willing to sign? I'm going to start that one off with you, Real.
Matt Prater. That's pretty much the only one I want to resign. So Fox. John Fox is pretty good too. To me, it is like a rebuild, man. I'm not trying to bring a bunch of players back. Definitely not Everson Griffin. I'm not trying to bring some of these players back. That one's for you, Luke.
Appreciate it. Those 6 games, he was lit, boy.
Definitely don't bring Amendola back. I don't know. And then from players outside of the Lions, no, honestly, I think we should just be rebuilding and save our capital, kind of like the Colts did. They didn't really spend much, and then all of a sudden they had like $100 million in free cap space, and they still had a beastly D-line and O-line, and everybody doesn't know how they did it. So I think we need to go that route and just play conservatively for a while, and then use this draft capital that we got for trading Stafford to really build a core of O-line and D-line and just build those trenches up so we could control the line of scrimmage. That way we could control the time of possession and make it easier for whatever quarterback we end up ushering in for the next era. So I think that that's the way we need to play the game.
Yeah, so at first when you said Matt Prater, I was like, bro, you're killing me with this. And then the rest of what you said was fantastic. But, dude, I can't back the Prater thing. You can see the decline the last 2 years. I mean, he'll hit clutch shots here and there, but he also misses ones that he should easily be making. And I just feel like it might be time, man. I mean, you saw what we got with Jack Fox. I mean, we got him out of nowhere. You can get kickers randomly.
Listen, man, I think that as Lions fans, we've been extremely lucky at the kicker position for a long time. And,
we have.
I don't want to go through a phase of having a really crappy kicker. It could have just been a bad year for Prater, and he's all of a sudden good again, and then he's on another team killing it. And I'd rather just keep him. But I see what you're saying, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. I just feel like, he's getting up there. I think he's like freaking mid-30s, late 30s, something like that. And, even with like Gostkowski, Hauschka, all these guys that were with their teams for so long, made a lot of clutch kicks. It's just time, man. And it's hard because we have seen Prater ice games time and time again. This man freaking, record long, field goal. If we're going to rebuild, dude, it's time to rebuild, and one of the guys too that always comes to mind is freaking Don Mulbeck.
The last of the Mohicans.
Yeah. Dude, is it that hard to find a long snapper? I mean, come on. Shit. Mike, what do you think, man? Is there a free agent out there? Is there anyone on our team you would re-sign? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would re-sign Romeo Okwara. Just because I believe that we could get him at not that steep of a price, just because he wants to stay on the team with his little brother.
I like that.
So I do think, and his production was just crazy under the worst scheme ever. Okay, so that's like the worst scheme in NFL history, and he produced 10 sacks in that. So I would keep him because with the scheme that actually works and actually is good, that 10 sacks can be elevated to 13, 14 easily. So I would keep Romeo, and I do think he will come in on a deal that's friendly to us just for his little brother.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I mean, so just a follow-up question, Mike. How much are you willing to sign him for?
See why you got to do that.
And the only reason why I asked that is because the majority of the fan base wants to bring back Romeo, but I feel like they're not realistic with the contracts. Everyone's like, well, we can give him a cheap deal or team friendly deal, but I don't see that happening.
Shout out to Andrew. Shout out to Andrew for that challenge, because that's the kind of stuff that need to happen more often, not only just from us as content creators, but the other fans who are talking to fans. Don't keep telling me who you want. How much you willing to pay for them? We gonna see how bad you really want.
Right. I mean, pass rushers are making a lot. Okay, they're making a lot, but I think we could get them at $10 million a year. I think $10 million a year. For real, I'm
whoa,
like,
whoa, dude, no.
Clowney,
Listen,
Clowney. What did Clowney? Clowney got like 13.
You're talking about Romeo Okwara?
13 or 14, right?
Yep.
I do believe that's what Clowney got, right?
I'm not sure on his contract.
I'm not sure, but I believe if that's what he got, you know what I'm saying, then we can't expect to give him like that little, because somebody's gonna pay him.
No, man, dude. Last year he made $3.4 million. Man,
I know, but off that, when you come with double-digit sacks and you're still under the age of 30, you're gonna get paid. Like, somebody's gonna bring that money to you. So I just say, why don't we just give them the money? I mean, you can break it down in contracts and spread it over years and front loaded, back loaded, whatever. But just it's time for us to finally pay players with production that we know are going to produce and not just fall off.
All right, so real, you were trying to say something. Are you saying that's too cheap?
Hold up, bro. That's too expensive, bro. Like, oh, wait, look, like we gave up Devin Kennard, who had basically the same amount of sacks and I think more tackles and everything, for $6 million. We didn't want to pay him $6 million, so we cut him, and we still gave him dead money of like, I don't even know how much, $1 million or something. Like, we signed 2 years ago. We signed Romeo Okwara to a 2-year, $6.8 million deal. Like, why? No, like, look, I would pay him $3.5 million for next year tops.
Come on,
and
man,
I probably
you can't
wouldn't
be
even.
for real.
That's going to be his market value. That's going to be his
market.
Not.
No, and you have double. Any player with double-digit sacks is going to command somewhere near that 10 mark.
All right, I think it's going to be below 5. You could say 10. We'll see what happens when he gets signed somewhere. I think it's going to be below $5 million a year for sure.
I'm gonna have to take a mental note on this one, because this is gonna be an interesting
Me too. I'm gonna come back.
I'll admit I'm wrong.
Hey,
I will, especially because the salary cap got shrunken this year. There's no way. I'm sorry, but like, hey, I'll say I'm wrong. I'll eat my crow if I'm wrong, 100%.
So,
I mean, 3.5 though. You just like, you basic man.
Yeah.
For 10 sacks, you give me 10 sacks a year, I'm paying you $3.5 million. Like, man, let me find your lawyer, because you got a good one.
Right. Hey, so the one player that I was really thinking about in terms of our team that I resigned was Romeo. But just thinking about it, seeing how much DNs bring in, I do not want to re-sign him, because I think he will be around $10 million. And I say that because you look at other DNs in the league and they're getting like $20 million, $18 million, $60 million, whatever it is. And Romeo just had a breakout season on a bad team, right? So you look at that, he got double-digit sacks, he was getting double teamed here and there, this, that, whatever have you. I don't see him signing for less than that, and I have a problem with giving him that money in the defensive position we're in, especially when we have his younger freaking brother who is more productive coming out of college than he was, who has a very raw skill set. And then you have like Pennicini, and you have a couple of those guys, and I'm sure we're going to address the D-line in the draft. I just don't want to see us spend that much money on him. So, looking at everyone else, unfortunately, there's not a single player I'd bring back. If you're gonna blow it up, blow it up. Hit it with the atomic bomb. I don't want to see odds and ends and putting duct tape on the team. I want to see you fully fix the team. And to start that, it's to get rid of those guys that like you love, like Zach Zenner. As a Lions fan, all of us loved him. Just a lot of passion, whatever it is. He wasn't a good back, and I'm sorry to say, he wasn't a good back, and we seen that, and so. I don't want to just keep guys because, they might have produced here and there. I want to bring in very dominant players who are hungry for winning.
Man,
Luke, what do you think, man? Is there anyone you'd bring back? Is there anyone you'd go after in free agency?
Well, first of all, I think y'all numbers is off. 3 something too low. The man just played for $4 million. He not finna play for less. 10 million is too low, and that's why I laugh.
That's what I was getting at. I even that is like being friendly with it.
I don't think he's gonna play for 10 million. Like I hate to say it to you. If you go through right now and you just look at the top edge rushers right now, Bosa, Garrett, Matt, Lawrence, Frank Clark, Von Miller, Trey Flowers, who knew, Cameron Jordan, Armstead, D Ford, Matt Judah. By the time we get down to that range, as y'all just said, that 10, right? I'm gonna get to the 10 people. Jerry Hughes. He ain't no damn Jerry Hughes. He better than Jerry Hughes. Mario Addison. These are guys who made 10. Shaq Lawson for the Dolphins. Leonard Floyd. Them are all $10 million guys. Chase Young makes 8. You think he finna? Bruh, no. That man played for $4 million. He's trying to be in the, and I really feel like he's going to be around the 12, 13 million a year, if not more. And so for that reason, if you're bringing him back, cool. My number one guy I'm bringing back is Jared Davis. We don't have linebackers. He's our fastest linebacker. I'm gonna say it again. We don't have linebackers. He's our fastest linebacker. And if you're telling me that he should be somebody that we shouldn't bring back, because this draft is loaded with linebackers, good. Then that means you're going to have a rookie, Tavai, and Collins. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Okay, man. That was kind of a harsh one, Luke. You kind of put an exclamation mark on that. But I mean, I would bring Davis back. It has to be a team-friendly contract because I don't really think anybody's going to bring out the Brinks truck for Jared Davis. But
that's the point. That's the point. You're not going to have to break the bank for Jared Davis. You're going to get the linebacker who apparently Campbell loves, right? And he see what I saw. So you're going to get your linebacker back. He's not going to cause you an arm and a leg. He may even be willing to sign a shorter deal, like a 1 or 2 year deal. But you talking about Okor, who's been in the league for a while already, which I believe he's been in the league, four seasons already? Let me see, 2016. So he's already been there for 5 seasons, ain't never had a legitimate contract, and here he is with a chance to get one. You think he getting every penny he can get?
What do you mean he never had a chance for a legitimate contract? What do you mean by that?
Meaning that if you look at him in terms of his money on average on what he could have had, it's nowhere in the top 10, 15, 20 that he's going to probably be able to garner now because he's going to say, hey, I was one of the best pass rushers on a bad team.
So after 2018 season, he signed a 2-year deal with us after his 7.5 sack season. He signed a 2-year deal for $6.5 million, something like that.
Yeah. So how much is that a year?
It was 6.8 million, 3.4 per season.
Okay.
After a 7.5 sack season. And now he's how old? How old is he?
26.
26.
Oh, okay, so he's still young. Okay, all right. I see what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Look, and I hope he gets all the money in the world, but just to be honest, man, I think he's not going to get that money with the salary cap being lower this year because the TV deal.
The thing is that I want to do though is we can't get rid of every single player that's going to cost a little bit. We can get rid of most of them, but if we just get rid of talent just cause, you know what I'm saying, then it's like, man, we really gonna set ourselves back in the we gonna go from a retool to a rebuild real quick. Okay, so we gotta keep somebody. We can't cut everybody because of like expenses. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? We can be like, oh no, you're gonna cost a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody, we're gonna have to take a chance and stick our net for somebody. And a pass rusher is the safest thing. Is the safest way to go.
So this actually brings me into the next topic. So Mike, we'll start with you. Given everything that we've talked about and our situation, what would you do about our cap situation, because we don't have many players that are under contract, and we also don't have a lot of cap space to work with. So how would you kind of fix the cap situation, and what would you do given our current situation?
That's kind of messed up because I'm about to put my foot in my own mouth. Okay, so Justin Coleman, you're out of here.
Damn. Just like that. He got to go.
Nick Williams, you're out of here. Let's see here. Let me see somebody else that got to go.
Can't blow it up, though.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, get out of here. Is Duron Harmon, is he still on the team?
Yeah.
He's out of here.
He's a free agent, ain't he?
Oh, he's a free agent.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought he's a free agent.
He is. You're right.
Well, okay. We had to score him to the door then. Let's see here. Christian Jones. Oh, it depends on the. You might be going too, depending. We don't have no linebacker, so we gotta. All right, you sit by the front door with your suitcase. You might not have to go.
Hey, just wait for that call, baby.
yeah, but yeah, I mean those contracts, man, and let's see here, man. Is there anybody else? Probably, man. Will Harris is still on a rookie contract, so he ain't got to go. I mean, yeah, man. Just those three off the top of my head. Nick Williams, definitely. I think Danny Shelton can stay because his deal is good. He was on a 2-year, like $8 million deal. I'll keep him. He's a good plugger in the middle. Get rid of Nick Williams, man. Got to cut him. Got to cut Coleman. That's wow. His contract, I can't believe we paid Nickelback that much. And then yeah, man, just those stick out to me. I can just think off top. So yeah, they got to go, and that's crazy because I just said we got to keep somebody. We can't let everybody go for money, but important things.
If they get rid of Coleman, they gain. Well, it's a $6 million cap hit, but they get $4 million back. And if you do a June 1st cut, which I think they're going to do, a June 1st cut, you take a $2 million cap hit, but you get $9 million in savings for letting Justin Coleman walk. So, just saying.
You can stick around for camp.
Just saying. So he, if you go down the list and you start to just look at the list, like I said, to me, I think Coleman gone, and I think Desmond Trufant is gone, because Desmond Trufant right now, if you cut him again, $6 million cap hit, but you save $6 million. So you really only get like a $187,000 in free space. But again, I don't see how he stay, because again, if you cut him at the June 1st, you're still saving a little money there. So I don't know how those two guys survive when you got Amani and Okudah who they're going to move forward with.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real with you. I just want to touch bases on this because I've talked to people about this, and I feel like people aren't realistic. I know we all have very high hopes, and it's like, well, a couple pieces here and we're good, but there's a lot of needs that need to be addressed. So when I look at just the defense side, we were one of the worst defenses in history, right? And yes, that was a lot of scheme. Yes, that was a lot of coaching, but some of it was talent, right? So I'm getting rid of Harmon. I'm getting rid of Will Harris, Trufant, Williams, Christian Jones, Romeo, only because I don't want to pay him, and then I'm keeping the core of like Trey Flowers. I'm keeping Danny Shelton because he's cheap. Penasini. We have Julian Okoro who will be fresh. We have Okudah. We have Amani. We have, young special teams players like, Killebrew. We have Jalen Reese-Maven. We have Tracy Walker, a couple of these guys, and that's who you start with. You start with them and you build, right? So I'm getting rid of the majority of this team, right, on defense. Offense, I love the freaking offensive line. I like DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson. Obviously, that's fine. But when you look at the defense, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed, need to be addressed. And I'm so sick of this because I notice every year that we might make a small change on defense. And they're like, well, we've had these guys for a while. They're familiar. They're this or that. But they're not good. They're not dominant players. And I don't want people that can get it done. I want people that can get it done and excel and do even more than that. So I just think that if you're going to do it, you blow that shit up. There's like 5 starting caliber people on our defense. The rest of these guys are not starting caliber players. So to do that, you either release these guys or you trade them, even if it's a 5th round pick, 6th round pick, get whatever the hell you can, because Brad Holmes has proven that he can find gems late in the draft. I mean, Darius Williams, who the hell is Darius Williams? This man had so many interceptions, and he's a freaking ball hawk for the Rams. I guarantee you guys probably don't even know who he is. But these are the type of players that Brad Holmes has helped find. And so it's time to move on from these guys and bring in new people. And like Real said earlier, you look at the Colts, they didn't do a single thing. They did not re-sign people to giant contracts besides, I think, like Quentin Nelson. And they let their contracts play out. They replaced people through the draft, and they just kept saving. And now they're literally Super Bowl contenders because they did it through the trenches and through drafts. And then finally, once they realize they're only missing a piece or two, they're like, well, let me go trade for DeVorest Buckner.
Yeah, but that's a little misleading because the Colts situation was a little bit different. You got to keep in mind they had a number of bad contracts, and they was not willing to cut those players and take those cap hits. Apparently, the Lions are.
But that's what I'm getting at, right? So you let some of these contracts play out because you just let it, play out. So you don't take that dead money. You see what you got, but you keep replacing through the draft. If you just cut everyone, you're going to have so much dead cap, and it's going to take years to get through, and you're going to constantly have a problem. You have to let it play out, have a couple bad seasons, and just build your talent. But Luke, what do you have to say? What would you do with our cap situation?
I mean, honestly, it's as a fan, I would sit back and enjoy, because to me, you can't build a profile of a person until they show their hand. And so for me, I'm sitting back enjoying. There are certain people that I would definitely bring back. There are certain people I wouldn't bring back. I don't know if the talent gap on this team is any different than anybody else. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the Lions coaching staff believe that. They talk about it all the time, where you can see on tape that the players are guessing and trying to figure this stuff out because there's 4 or 5 things that they're being asked to do, but then it doesn't coincide with their skill sets. And so to me, better coaching resolves a lot of those problems. Now, there's some people who I want gone just because, yes, like I don't understand Christian Jones' role. He's not even a force multiplier. He's not he's okay. He's not, it's nothing about him that goes, yeah, keep him. Nothing. So, yeah, Christian Jones, bye. But overall, when it comes to the cap, which apparently we're 8 or 9 million over right now, you got to go and make moves based on that. And those moves are going to come down to where I get the most money and free up money at the same time. So it's going to be a lot of names like Christian Jones, like Danny Shelton. This is one of the ones that I know a lot of people don't want to hear. But you get $4 million for cutting Danny Shelton. So just saying, Nick Williams, he's got to go. You get another $4 million for cutting Nick Williams. Jesse James, you can't cut Jesse James because that's a $4 million cap hit for you to save to. I don't think they do that. I think people like Hunter Bryant is in trouble. He's in trouble. But Chase Daniels, depending on when you decide to cut him, you can make a case for some money there. But I don't see that being the case. I think Coleman is definitely the hell up out of here. He donezo. I think he is one of those ones up out of here. So to me, as a fan, just enjoy it. Don't get too caught up in trying to figure out what you can and can't do. Just embrace the fact that right now we're going to see a lot of new things change. Calvin Johnson is going to make some appearances this year because he's going to be back with the Lions. I'm 100% sure of that. And just embrace the moment, man, because honestly, when it comes to this team, I don't think it's a lot that needs to be done, which is why I keep referring to it as a renovation or a retool.
Yeah. No, I feel you, and there's so much that goes behind it that it's so hard because there's not a great answer because we do have a lot of things to address and there's so much uncertainty. We replaced our whole coaching staff. We have a new quarterback. We have so many unknowns, so it's going to be really hard to tell. Real, what do you think, man? How do you fix this cap situation and what would you do?
Yeah, I think you guys said it all. I'll just make it really brief. But yeah, I strongly stand by the point that we should be playing it conservative, especially now that we're in this unique position where we have 5 first-round picks in 3 years. Look, use that draft capital wisely. build your core of young talent to build around for the next few coming years, and do it that way. Build through the draft and save your money, your capital. And then once it becomes time that it becomes apparent that you can be a division contender, then make big splashes, because you'll have all this money to do it, and then make big splashes so that you are an actual Super Bowl contender. If you make those big splashes now, when we're still rebuilding, you're not going to have that money and that rollover money like the Colts had later on to use it. So using it now while we're still rebuilding is kind of counterproductive. So I'm very strong on that belief. Play conservatively, still compete, don't tank, but just save your assets.
Right. I feel like that was perfectly said. Honestly, that's a good way to put it. And you don't want to just defeat the morale of the team. If you constantly take towards the end of the year, it sucks. No competitive athlete wants to freaking lose for couple spots higher in the draft. Whether you're picking at 7, you're picking at 15, there's talent in every single draft. You just have to know how to draft. So I would love if they stay competitive throughout the entire season and you don't see that nosedive.
I think we will because I'm on the side of Luke right now when I see 7 wins out of this team next season, like maybe even 8. Like I do see it with the change of scheme, with people who actually know how to coach football, who actually know football, who are not out here with a pencil in their head, just basically just doing whatever. Like when you have what I'm saying, I really think that we have a decent core of talent, and that the coach will at least instill in them the fight to go out there and at least win a few games. So I don't see that being, we're gonna have a 2-3 win season. I just don't see that. I see a 7-9 competitive type season.
I mean, even if you did rough math on it, right? Let's say if you just split all your division games, that's 3 wins, right? Then you turn around, we play the Bengals. You think we're taking an L to the Bengals at home? No, that's 4. Playing the Eagles at home, 5, right? ATL, we play the Falcons, people. We play them in Atlanta, but they got problems. They got a new head coach coming too, right? So they on the same boat as us. But I think we'll be able to come in because we'll have more of our team intact than them. They got issues. So right then, there goes 6. I'm not worried about the 49ers. They lost their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean
that's enough. There goes 6-7 right there. So it's not impossible for us to get 8 wins or more. Just put it out here. And that's without me even knowing when we play. I can't wait to see when we play because my number could go up.
Yeah, it's hard too because there's those games where we freaking lose that we should easily whoop on teams, and it's gonna be interesting to see if we're gonna be a team that beats all the teams we should be, and how we handle that. And I don't even want to make predictions right now because honestly, I have no idea what's in store with how many changes we have. So, like you guys have been saying, it's definitely one of those seasons where you just got to sit back, relax, and hope for an exciting team.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But I do have to say, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. And if you haven't seen it on our banner, if you want, get 20% off plus free shipping at Manscaped with our promo code REAL. If you're not familiar with there, you can just hop on over and see what they got. But I got another topic for you guys, and this one is heartbreaking to me. I'm going to throw this one over to you, Luke, first. How would you feel if Russell Wilson was traded to the Bears? I have been seeing this all over Twitter. I've been seeing this all over, the guys just saying like, well, I don't want to get traded, but if I was traded, I want to go here, here, here. And one of those teams was the Bears, so how would you feel if they were able to pull that off?
I won't give 2 flying nickels. I'm trying not to curse. I can care less. First of all, he's not getting traded, right? But let's say he do get traded and go to the Bears, right? Like, I'm being honest. Let's say he get traded and he goes to the Bears. So what? Where they getting this money from? Khalil Mack owns their entire salary cap. Where they getting the money to pay Russell Wilson, who just got a new deal? Where they getting this money from? I'll wait. Tell me where. Better yet, tell me this. Tell me the seasons that Russell Wilson did something without a run game. I'll talk about it. We talk about it. Come on, tell me. I'll wait. I can care less. I don't care. Like, the bottom line is this. if you want to scare me, tell me Russell Wilson go to the Vikings. Now I'm nervous. See, because the Vikings run the ball with Cook. Bears don't run the ball. And Russell Wilson, at his best, has had a run game. And now you take away the run game, or you give him an inconsistent run game, and he look like all the other quarterbacks.
Man, Russell Wilson is a run game, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, Luke. See, I was with you on the subject before. Now you're going crazy, man.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
First off,
you're like, you know what?
Wilson.
Calvin Johnson sucks. Aaron Rodgers sucks. Russell Wilson sucks.
Listen, the bottom line is this: Calvin Johnson should not have been the first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't care what anybody say. The evidence is he should not have been the first ballot Hall of Famer. They didn't put Terrell Davis
Mute
in.
his mic. Mute his mic.
They didn't. No. Listen, let's be honest.
I gotta hear this.
If you go to Terrell Owens and you look at Terrell Owens' numbers,
They didn't like Terrell Owens, man. That's why.
But it does not matter. The Hall of Fame should be about the best players. Terrell Owens was the most dominant player in his era. And he was that by himself for a lot of the time. When you go to Calvin Johnson, he was not the most dominant player by himself. You always had a Larry Fitzgerald or Julio Jones or
that's
Andre
subjective,
Johnson.
Man. That's your opinion.
How is it subjective? It's the truth. You can go and
no,
look at
it's
the
not, man. It's not the truth.
Wait,
that's your opinion.
You
like,
said,
what do you mean?
said there weren't other dominant receivers? Is that what you just said?
You said what now?
No. Say what you said about there was Larry Fitzgerald and Julio and stuff. What were you referring to?
I said during the Calvin Johnson era, there were a number of other dominant receivers just as dominant as him. The thing that everybody looks at with Calvin Johnson is the fact that he had those yards that 1 year, which I'm like, okay, that's great. He had those yards. But when we look at the touchdowns of that season, what are we talking about? And the goal of the game is to get in the end zone. But when I go through and I look at the receivers who had to wait, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. These guys were scoring. These guys were dominant during their era. Like Randy Moss was Randy Moss. Like he have a whole damn catchphrase. You got Moss. Ain't nobody saying you got Megatron. Ain't nobody saying you got CJ. That's not happening. He was not a first ballot Hall of Fame receiver, in my opinion. No more than
you could say the same thing. Randy Moss didn't have a freaking Transformer name after him, and he didn't have a superhero name or nothing.
But the Transformer name was given to him because of how big he was, not because of the plan, because of how big he was.
Okay.
Put it in context. Put it in context.
Listen, man, and regardless, even if there's other dominant wide receivers, it doesn't matter. People don't just look at his yards. People look at him being triple teamed and him still coming down with the touchdown.
I think but he ain't the first, and he wasn't the only one.
But no receivers are doing the same highlights that he's doing.
But the thing that we overlook and ignore is the fact that during that entire time that he was on this team, all right, they never had won anything of significance. He was here for a significant amount of time. And yes,
when does that have to do with
right
individual
because
it's the same thing about Stafford and quarterback.
Because what I'm telling you is this. I'm saying that when you look at Calvin Johnson and you go back and you just look at from all the years that Calvin Johnson has been in the league, that's all you got to do is look at all the years that Calvin Johnson has been in the league. Okay, and I'm not
dominant wide receiver.
He was not the most.
Easily the most dominant wide receiver.
Easily, yeah.
Wow,
what's up, Easy?
It's not even.
I know you heard this blasphemy, so Easy.
Yeah, I know.
Easy. Right? You're like, oh no, I can't sit back and just listen to this, man. Because look, he had 1,964 yards, man.
Yeah.
Then he fought and that's after he had a 1,681 yard season.
We had John Kitna throwing to him. He was doing work.
Right.
Look.
Kitna.
Luke, I'll give you this. Listen, Terrell Owens was hosed for the Hall of Fame because they didn't like him. They didn't like him as a character and as a rebel and whatever. But like that doesn't mean that Megatron didn't deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Listen to me. The problem with most football fans is y'all live in the fantasy world of John Madden and ESPN, and I'm trying to get y'all out of there. This is where I had to talk about these blue pill fans versus red pill fans. The man was targeted 204 times that season. We all know that. I know it don't matter. It wouldn't matter to nobody else neither. But here go the facts. The man was targeted 204 times, caught 122. That's 59.8% of those catches being caught. He got 5 touchdowns, bro. I'm not trying to be funny, but 5 touchdowns, bro. fine.
Hey, to be fair though, Luke, when he got into the red zone, they literally were triple teaming him.
Right.
This is my point. This is my
and we
point.
had no
This is my
run
point.
game, so they didn't
He
even
is
have
not-
to stack
he
the
is
box,
not
man.
the first
Like,
person. They double and triple team Tyreek Hill. I don't care about no double and triple team. What I care about is this.
Kansas
When
City
I
has
go-
other options, man.
Listen. All right, listen. Let's look at it like this. If Calvin Johnson and let's say Larry Fitzgerald were both up at the same time for the Hall of Fame, who was getting in?
Hey, they both get in on the
both
rebuild.
get
They're
in.
both not getting in.
With the Hall of Fame point, you have a point, Luke. With the Hall of Fame thing, you absolutely have a point. This is like guys like Antonio Brown have better numbers than Calvin Johnson. But in terms of being dominant in his era, when fully healthy, there's not a single human being better than Calvin Johnson.
But there was though.
There's the only two you could possibly argue is Randy Moss and Jerry Rice.
Bruh.
It's like saying Emmitt Smith was the best running back of all time because he had the stats. But we all know Emmitt Smith ain't shit.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
What I'm saying is this.
Right.
What I'm saying is this, right? Like I give you a perfect example, right? Gale Sayers is in the Hall of Fame, right?
Right.
Now, many of us was not alive, including my damn self, to see Gale Sayers. Right?
Right.
Stay with me though. When you looked at Gale Sayers, you obviously looked at the talent. That's the first key thing you look at. But you also can see where the trajectory was and where he ranked amongst his peers in that era. There wasn't a running back that can scratch his coattails in that era.
So Luke, I just because you're bringing this up, who are the wide receivers in Calvin's era that you would say are better than him during that time?
Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh my God.
What, you don't think so?
Larry Fitzgerald is one of the best to ever do it, but it's apples and oranges, man. I mean, the guy has
Larry
hands.
Fitzgerald, the longevity of his career and all the accomplishments he's had in the entirety of his career at a consistent high level. That's why Larry Fitzgerald is so great. Calvin Johnson was like a flash in the pan that like you'll never see again, but it only lasted 10 years. It's completely different.
That's like comparing Antonio Gates to Gronk. Antonio Gates had a very long career. He was very consistent. He was very good. Gronk had a short career.
Exactly.
And Gronk is arguably the most dominant tight end ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of dominance, it's Calvin all day. Now you can say there's guys who have like better careers and whatnot, and like, yeah, you'd be correct in saying that. Like, absolutely, Larry Fitzgerald has had a way better career. So many guys had a better career than Calvin. But in terms of dominance, when fully healthy, there's no one that could do what Calvin did. It's just
nobody.
So I have to hear the rest of this list though, Luke, because I'm
I don't listen. There's no need for me to even give the rest of the list because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Lord
It would be the equivalent to me trying to tell you that your kid sucks as a player. As a parent, who's gonna be like, yeah, my kid sucks. Nobody's gonna say that.
That's not it,
Bro, it wasn't Lions fans that voted him into the Hall of Fame.
Listen.
Athletes in catching the football consistently. That's not the same thing. My kid can't do that.
Listen. The point I'm trying to make to y'all is I'm arguing against a wall, and rather than argue against a wall, I'll just state my viewpoint. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I can support that in 1,000 ways over.
Now, that's true.
There were other people in his years that was just as dominant as Calvin Johnson was during that era, and that's the problem. That's just the truth. I love to lie about it, but it's
your opinion, bro.
It's not my opinion. Even if you look at if you took Calvin Johnson's entire career and going, I went and looked at this. I was just curious. I looked at Terrell Lawrence's first 8 years or something like that. He had those same numbers and was still better. And I'm just saying he was dominant in his era. Randy Moss was dominant in his era. There are certain people that you can look at and say they had all the talent in the world, but they were not the only one dominant. Like, for example, right? Adrian Peterson, when he came into the league a beast, right? He was dominant. There were other running backs that were not as dominant as Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson I will put in the first ballot because there was nobody as dominant as Adrian Peterson when he was playing. You had guys but with Calvin, there was receivers who were. And
that's like saying. But listen, this is the same argument, but you're just bringing up.
You say numbers, but dominance, like that's just.
Are you telling me that there was no other receivers during his whole career that was just as dominant as him?
There's
one.
There wasn't. You could even put up maybe near there, and it's Julio Jones.
So Julio Larry Fitzgerald, Andre Johnson, they weren't just as dominant.
No, they weren't.
None of them.
Andre
though,
Johnson is one of my favorite receivers of all time. He
Andre
was
Johnson,
not as dominant as
Andre
Calvin.
Johnson is the year that Calvin Johnson got his 1,900 yards and touchdowns. His 5 touchdowns he had. Andre Johnson had 4 touchdowns that year. He didn't even have 204 targets. He had 162. They had the same amount of catches, but obviously he wasn't targeted as much. And he had 1,598 yards receiving. The difference was he caught 69.1% of his passes versus Calvin's 59%.
So Luke, I gotta throw some of your hold on. I gotta throw some of your own words at you, man, because you're talking some nonsense right now. First of all, Arian Foster was a freaking phenom, which obviously helps up the passing game. I'm not even gonna go there, but you literally are Mr. Stats can be misleading. You say this all the time, and you know what stat is misleading?
But you know what I can do?
Calvin Johnson stats, and it does not show how dominant that Calvin was.
Right.
Nobody. I don't care. Even Randy Moss. Randy Moss never was mossing 3 freaking guys consistently. 2 guys all the time. Randy was a fucking monster. The dude had the touchdowns. The dude had the stats. He had the catchy phrases. But Calvin was literally double teamed every single game of his career. Every single game.
They knew they were going to him every time, and it didn't matter.
Calvin Johnson was the most dominant physical specimen at receiver.
Boy, I tell you, I don't even know why we having this debate. I've said this numerous times. I don't know why we even had this because I've said this numerous times on my channel where I said for some damn reason the Lion fan base love these receivers. You can't tell them nothing about the receivers in the city of Detroit, from Herman Moore on up to Calvin Johnson. You can't tell them nothing about a receiver in this one. The only thing that the Lions fan the only thing that the Lions fan know is 1, to hate every freaking quarterback we ever have, and 2, love every receiver we draft. And it's ridiculous.
Luke, man, it wasn't Lions fans that voted him first ballot Hall of Fame.
I don't care who voted him.
You can't use that excuse just because we're Lions fans. Like clearly, the Hall of Fame.
What I'm saying is this: the Hall of Fame in and of itself to me is diluted. Just like the NBA's Hall of Fame is diluted. I find it to be intriguing who gets in and who don't. But what I'm pointing out to you is if you look at people like Calvin Johnson, okay. And when they're voting him into the Hall of Fame, they're voting him in based on stats. Let's just be honest. They're voting him in based on stats. They're not voting him in.
So
Luke, I just want to say, Luke, your narrative is mostly true about Lions fans and receivers like that, but not Calvin Johnson, man. That narrative flies over his head. It's not. He's not in that narrative.
And Go Ryans is right. Go Ryans is like Herman Moore should be in the Hall of Fame, but he's not first ballot. That's my point. What y'all hear is me saying that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and y'all assume that is the idea. That y'all are saying that to believe that I'm saying that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he shouldn't have been a first ballot. That's just the fact.
So Luke, what receivers then? Because you never answer this. You said Fitz, which obviously Fitz is a freaking monster. I mean, the dude's had one of the best careers a wide receiver has ever had. Besides him, who are you putting above him?
What do you mean?
Like the receivers that were in Calvin's era.
Listen. I've already told you I'm not even willing to argue that point no more because, like I said, you guys already are going to be hell bent on the idea that it's a receiver. The Lions fan base love receivers. If you notice, and if you anybody who's been with me from the time I jumped on YouTube, they would know I came in talking about running the ball. It was an unpopular thing for people to say it's a passing league. I don't believe it's a passing league because every time I look up, the teams winning in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl do what? Run the damn ball. It ain't just my fault. I mean, hell, Russell Wilson would have had back-to-back Super Bowls if they did what? Ran the damn ball. It's just the reality of it. So for me, I don't feel a need to try to explain that for people who I know already have their mind set up.
Look,
I got a question.
Hold up, Mike. So just to point this out, Calvin Johnson during my lifetime is the only receiver I would ever make this argument for. And I love Golden Tate. I like Kenny Galladay. There's a lot of players we have had that I liked, but there's not a damn chance I'm arguing that they're a first ballot Hall of Famer ever. This is a dumb argument. I would never make it. Yeah, we might like our players here and there. And I like DeAndre Levy. Am I going to put him in the first ballot Hall of Fame? No, but Calvin Johnson literally every single player that's ever talked about him, they laugh when people try and compare Mike Evans to him, when people try and compare other players to him, because they're literally like, no. Like these NFL players that line up against him are like, don't even try to compare him. And yeah, we don't know about like Moss or like T.O. or Jerry because that's, in the past, but like all of these guys that lined up against Calvin literally were like, this motherfucker was the most dominant receiver I've ever played against. You had to have multiple guys. Our coaches literally schemed just for this man, like all this stuff. And like Fitz is dominant, Julio is dominant, but none of them draw that type of attention. And the problem is that his career was short, and he had a lot of injuries. But if he didn't, would he not have broken probably all the records? He probably would be up there with Jerry Rice's records. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. And like, yeah, we're fans, this and that. But like, it's hard to look at what other players in the league said about him, what other coaches said about him, because none of these coaches and players say the same thing about any other wide receiver they've ever lined up against. So it's hard. Yeah. It's hard.
Man, okay. I got to say this real quick. I got to say this real quick. Real quick, Luke. Okay, I just want to ask you this question. Is 4th and 4, okay? Is Super Bowl 4th and 4. What other receiver are you going to throw the ball to but Calvin? Name one receiver that you trust more than Calvin Johnson in 4th and 4 in the Super Bowl on the line with 1 second to go. You down by 6.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh my God.
Oh my Lord.
Hey, man, it's a subjective question, man. It's fine if you think that. It's fine if
No, listen. Y'all laugh because, like I said, I find it entertaining that y'all just seem to be so bent on this idea that he did this. But if you go through and you just look at it, like if you were to look at from the time that Calvin came in, where he ranked that in receivers, right? Receivers, and then you go and look at Calvin, because one of the things that stood out to me with Calvin, which again is an indictment on the Lions, it's not an indictment on Calvin, but it's an indictment on the Lions. It's the number of targets that this man got, and I'm like, yo, how did this man got this many targets? Like, for example, let me go and get a comparable person. So let's say we look at Larry Fitzgerald, right? Larry Fitzgerald been in the league. Shit, damn, how many years is this?
He's been in the league almost as long as Brady.
The longest time. Matthew Stafford got Calvin fucked up a lot across the field.
Hey, Here come another stupid ass statement. How in the hell did he get him messed up across the field? What are you talking about, bro? That did not happen.
What do you mean? Calvin used to get fucked up across the middle of the field.
Listen. So listen. Hold on. So now this is Stafford getting him messed up. It's supposed to be Megatron. That's the shit I'm talking about. He was you know what?
That's facts. Luke, Stafford got that man fucked up in the middle of the field. What are you arguing? Like, run it. Like watch the tape.
I'll watch the tape. Let me see.
That's why he had some damn injuries. This man was getting fucked up.
Listen, I believe you.
I got one more question, please.
I believe
please.
you. Okay, now, hold on, wait. Let me say this. I know you got a lot of questions, and I know y'all.
I only got one more.
But hold on. Right now, if you were to go through, and this is according to Pro Football Reference, and you were to weigh out the careers of receivers, and they're talking about this is from 1960. Larry Fitzgerald would be number 93, right? He would be number 93 based on his longevity. Now, if you go I'm sorry, let me go back. I'm trying to look at the targets. If you go and look at Larry Fitzgerald's targets in that time span that he's been in the career, he's got let me go over here where we at 2,335 targets, right? And he's definitely had a way longer career than Calvin. Obviously, I don't want to knock Calvin, but Calvin, a guy who's got 1,300 targets and was on pace with Larry Fitzgerald had to literally play significantly longer to even get past those targets that this man was getting. His catch percentage over his career is 55.7. Now, I'm not a big stat guy. Stats can be misleading. I'll be the first to tell you that. But 61.3% for a guy who's played longer, had more targets than Larry Fitzgerald, that just shows you where he was. Andre Johnson, when he ended his career, he had a 61.1 catch radius percentage. I'm just saying that again. I don't care if he made the Hall of Fame. He's not first ballot.
Okay. Can I ask you one question?
Real quick, because the type of throws that are being thrown to Calvin Johnson would never be thrown Larry Fitzgerald's way because he's not catching those type of balls.
Man,
Facts.
wow.
True. That is
And,
true.
This
Fitz
goddamn
is one of the
players.
most sure-handed wide receivers in NFL history.
John
But he was
ain't
not
scored
getting
since
those.
John Madden. I hate you. I hate you.
It's
EA
not
Sports
John
and
Madden.
John
Hey,
Madden.
I'm not even a Madden player, but I'm gonna ask you this.
Are you telling me
Okay.
Larry Fitzgerald has the same catch radius as Calvin Johnson?
Listen, you got it.
No, can I
Luke,
ask a serious question?
Luke,
though?
this ain't John Madden, man. I grew up watching Fitz. Fitz is one of my favorite players to watch because he's exciting, especially when he was younger. He got a lot more action, but the man was sure-handed. You throw the ball his way, he was catching it, but he was not getting triple teamed in the end zone and still getting the ball thrown to him because his quarterback wasn't doing shit like that. He wasn't getting those fade routes with double teams and stuff. Yes, he was targeted in tough situations, but it was not the same. It just wasn't. And you can if you look at literally every pass thrown at Fitz and every pass thrown at Calvin, you'll see that. It's not Madden, it's not ESPN, it's not this. It's just that's literally what happened. Like Fitzgerald had freaking Kurt Warner throwing the ball. Like
where was all that talk at when I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
I'm gonna hold on to
this.
Listen to this.
Calvin Johnson. That
we might well move on. We might well move
hold on, real quick.
With people who are in love with receivers.
I just want you to answer.
To show you my level of consistency. I wanted Calvin Johnson traded so we can keep
that's fine, but do you think?
I mean, I agree with that. But that's beside the fact.
No, it's not beside the fact. I'm just showing you where my consistency lie in it. I'm just telling you that he was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but there's nothing I can tell y'all to understand that. Y'all here, what you mean he's not a Hall of Famer? What I'm saying, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Who are the first ballot Hall of Famers? That should be the question.
That's for you. People like Randy Moss are the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Who else? Is there anybody else?
Jerry Rice,
Terrell Owens. Those should be first ballot Hall of Fame. They literally dominated. Like when I mean dominated, you will see their name as 1 and 2, 9 times out of 10 in most stat categories as a receiver. There was nobody like Terrell Owens was on Randy Moss' ass when it came to it. Randy Moss was still balling, and Terrell Owens was not far behind him. The thing that made Terrell Owens special, and what people seem to forget, is Terrell Owens would catch the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and he ran through half those tackles for a touchdown. Like when look at his game against in the Super Bowl. That dude ankle was destroyed, and he still destroyed that team. So I'm just saying, a lot of those things that we look at, I get it, but like I said, I don't want to keep debating this because I know that this fan base love receivers and hate quarterbacks, and it's a waste of energy.
So Luke, I got to touch base on this because, I mean, dude, so T.O. had 219 games. The man had 15,934 yards, 153 touchdowns. Calvin Johnson had 80 less games and only 4,000 less yards.
Let me help you. Go and take Calvin Johnson's whole entire career, right? Which is 10 years, and then do the first 10 years of Terrell Owens. And then I want you to tell me what was the touchdown totals and they catch percentages. Go and do that. Now, I'm just trying to show y'all certain things, but the way I think has always been different because when I watch football, even when I watch film, I'm looking at little technique things. Like everybody wants the fast receiver. I can care less about the fast receiver. I want the route runner. Jerry Rice wasn't fast, but he will run you out your damn shoes. It's just the reality. And so
from Jerry Rice in the beginning of his career, by the way.
You say what happened?
He played with Jerry Rice in the beginning of his career.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And he effed up the first couple of games. Remember, he had dropped that pass, and Jerry Rice and everybody went over to him and was like, "Bro, you got this." And he caught it. And he got the ugly face cry. I mean, but
there's a greatness to the longevity of guys like Terrell Owens, Larry Fitzgerald, and that's why, in my opinion, too, I would put them first ballot over Calvin because like they have numbers that Calvin wasn't able to get. Ultimately, as great as Calvin was, they've done stuff that he wasn't able to. Therefore, they are their first ballot for that reason above him. But in terms of dominance, like that's a statement that you had me fucked up with. I'm like, this dude was catching over fucking teams, like a whole fucking like.
I also remember games where he fumbled in open field.
Yeah,
or
I remember games where Larry Fitzgerald fumbled too.
Right. Did you not just read that stat that Steve-O said? Larry Fitzgerald has more tackles than drop passes. The receiver. That man, dude, the man catch percentage. You know what? I'm gonna leave it alone. You got it. I don't tell you.
We're just
catch
gonna have to
percentage
agree
of
to
the fumble.
disagree because look, there's gonna be players like Antonio Brown that's gonna get the TO treatment, and then there's gonna be players like Julio Jones.
How long has Antonio Brown played?
I want to say he's been in the league for around 10 years.
Has he? Damn.
He missed some time with all his bullshit.
Well, obviously he missed some time, but I'm just saying, like in general, how long? It's been 10 years, you think? Because like I said, I know he was taken late, but I'm gonna go and look because that's
his career is 9 years. The man has played in similar amount of games as Calvin, and he has very similar stats.
Yeah, and see, again,
was a decoy too. Pretty much the whole 2 last years of his career, like he was broken.
Yeah, and if you look at just his games, the games he's played, he hasn't really played many games in the last 2 years. So, that just kind of factors in. Antonio Brown was a really dominant receiver, but he acts like T.O., and I'm sure Antonio Brown's going to get snubbed just like T.O. did. But that's a topic for another day because it's just one of those things. Like the Hall of Fame, a lot of it is
popularity contest.
Yeah, popularity. It's like the Pro Bowl. There's players that should get in the Pro Bowl, like Frank Ragnow. Pro Bowl, right? But sometimes it'll be like, no, because we have this center that's 38 years old and the fan base just votes the shit out of him and he gets into Pro Bowl. That stuff is very opinion oriented, but we're going to go down the rabbit hole. I feel like we've been talking about this topic a lot. So
I tried to kill it, but y'all insist on trying to prove that I was wrong. And I'm like, yo, what y'all are hearing is different than what I'm saying. All I'm saying is he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Is he a Hall of Fame receiver? Yes. Is he first ballot? No. That's a fact. And I don't care who wants to argue that. I can show it and prove because he was not the most dominant person in his time. So that's
That's an opinion. That's all I'm gonna say.
Listen, easy. If he's the most dominant player, if he was the most dominant player at the receiver position in his time, then there's no way you should be saying that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, Luke, those are two different things.
No, they're not. The point I'm trying to make to you is if you're telling me he was the most dominant player during his entire era, right, which is 10 years, then you should be saying that he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And everybody else in the chat, real Andrew, do that not make sense? If you're telling me he's been the most dominant, and my whole argument is he was not the most dominant player in his era.
I mean, if you think that he wasn't, then obviously the logic behind it makes sense in terms of your opinion. But we just disagree with it.
I told you I wanted to move on. Like I said, I know this fan base. Y'all love y'all.
I would say this. I'm not that fan base, right? I don't want a wide receiver till fucking second, third round, even probably third, fourth round.
Listen, we could take. We took Quintez Cephas in what round? What round we took Quintez Cephas?
You're a guy who likes to say, I like to put on the tape and watch the things to do with technique and stuff like that. You put on tape with Calvin Johnson. There's things that he does and have done they've never seen from anybody else you put on tape.
Mm-hmm. Again, let me ask this question again. What round did we draft Quintez Cephas?
What?
What round?
What are you talking about right now?
What round did we draft Quintez Cephas? That's my question.
Or something.
No, it was later than that.
It wasn't the sixth
round. And
it shows, bro. He drops too many damn passes.
Listen, this fan base loves him. I'm telling you,
not me, bro. Not me. Not yet. Yes, sir.
Bro, do you remember? Hold on. Do you remember when his fan base was getting mad when we cut Tim Toon and Brandon Powell? Come on, man, stop playing. Y'all love receivers.
That's just an underdog story, man.
I know it sounds cool. Y'all love receivers.
If you own a Cephas jersey in the comment section, put up a hand.
Hey, I ain't spending money on that shit.
Cephas should be a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
Nah, I'm definitely not saying that. But the problem is I'm trying to prove the point that this fan base love receivers. When Cephas came out, everybody went nuts over him. When we had Brandon Powell, everybody went nuts over him. And whoever the receivers are, we go nuts over receivers. I don't know why.
So, Luke, I'm only going to ask you this because this is a very similar situation. And Go Lions mentioned it. He just mentioned Cam Chancellor, and I thought about him immediately. Cam Chancellor was one of the most dominant safeties we've seen during his era, but his career was cut short due to injuries. Very similar to Calvin, different position. Would you vote Cam Chancellor as a first ballot Hall of Famer? He has a Super Bowl and everything.
No.
Why not?
Because he was not the most dominated safety at his position that is that entire career. There were
is that the credentials to get in? Like, why are you choosing
because the credentials is this. If you're talking about the Hall of Fame, you're talking about the best of the best. There's nobody who can hold a match to the ass of a Charles Woodson. He was that dominant when he played corner or when he played safety, even when he played receiver. He was that damn dominant. You can't hold a match to that. When you go through and you look at some of these players who are not getting the recognition, people like Charles Tillman, who was a turnover machine at cornerback and was very good at what he did. He's not going to get the Hall of Fame talk. He's not going to get first or second ballot talk. And he was one of the dominating safeties in there. But when you go through and you look at people like Cam Chancellor, I guarantee you for when you're looking at Cam Chancellor, you're going to also go and look at other teams and see that there were other safeties who were dominant. And the difference was that those guys didn't get the recognition because those teams didn't go to the Super Bowl and didn't win. They didn't have complete teams. They didn't have coaching and stuff. So for me, when I look at the Hall of Fame, I don't just look at it and say, oh, it's this. I'm looking at it because I'm telling you it's diluted right now. They literally have put in anybody who's been from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 30s, 20s, and whatever other year they can come up with trying to fill out this damn Hall of Famer. But when you go through and you look at people like John Lynch balled out. I'm a Bucks fan. I rocks with John Lynch. But John Lynch got in on his ninth time, and he should have. He wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. All them knockouts he got, he was not no first ballot Hall of Famer.
So the problem, Luke, that I see with it is like, there's not going to be that many Troy Polamalu's. There's not going to be that many Jerry Rice's.
Then guess what?
You know what I'm saying?
But listen. But then you got to understand. I'm not saying that they're not Hall of Famers. I'm saying that they're not first ballot. When you talk about first ballot, you were the grand be all of that time, and that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of people get in off of popularity. Like for example, Kurt Warner got in, and I'm trying to figure out how in the fuck did Kurt Warner get in. But then it dawned on me. Most of the people who go into the booth, they go into the Hall of Fame. They go into the Hall of Fame. If you go into the booth, you go into the Hall of Fame. So every time you look up and you see these people who go into the booth and they had half a decent career, like why was Warren Sapp not a first ballot Hall? If I'm not mistaken, I think he was like second.
Bless you.
Thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Warren Sapp was like second, and he was the most dominating D tackle that entire era.
And look, that's the problem we're going to have with the Hall of Fame. It's similar to Pro Bowl, right? It's people making their judgment calls on who they feel is first round, second round, and you can see the discrepancy. Even like with us four, right? 3 of us are saying Calvin's a first round Hall of Famer, and you're saying he's not. He's probably a second round ballot. But the thing is, like, there's just random people that are friggin' choosing this, you know? And it gets to a point where you can't go 70 years in the past and be like, oh, this guy, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, because the game has changed so much that it's like, how do you not put Peyton Manning in the Hall of Fame compared to someone like, you know, in the 70s or 80s that was very dominant in this time? It's hard to, because the game is evolving too. And also, like you said, it's a popularity thing, you know, guys like T.O., Warren Sapp, some people hated them, you know, but they're very dominant players. So it's just one of those things that's going to be crappy.
Real quick though, just so I can do some homework tonight, Luke. Within the same era, whose tape am I going to put on? I'm not being an asshole. I really was like, because obviously we like football. I like to watch some highlights.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. You watch highlights. I'm talking about you got to watch the snaps. You got to watch every snap, and you got to be able to see it. I can sit there with you and show you, and go through every single snap with you and show you. But I don't just watch highlights. Okay, highlights are literally what they are. They are snippets of some moments and put out there.
Shoot me that same link of a receiver that's more dominant than Calvin in his era, and I'm gonna do my homework.
All right, next question. Okay,
I just gotta see it. But Ryder has a question.
Yeah, so I was gonna touch base on this. Actually, one of my last questions, you know, and it's revolving around: are we retooling? Are we rebuilding? You know, what are we doing, and how long is it gonna take? Easy, you know, I'll throw that one over to you first.
This is a rebuild. I think we're looking at 1 or 2 years before we look competent out there. I think our first year of having those, I'm counting this year as like the one, you know what I'm saying? And then the next year with the first 2 first rounders. That's our second year. So I think after that, we should be in pretty good shape. I don't think Jared Goff is the guy, but I think we can admit that when a team is put around Jared Goff, he obviously can win you some games, right? But I'm just in the camp of like having a cheaper guy at that position so we go over the top, like Tom Brady's team that he had this year. What?
Oh, okay.
That's a rebuild, in my opinion.
All right, real. Is it a retool? Is it a rebuild? Is it a revamp? What is it, and how long is it going to take?
I honestly think the term that we use is irrelevant. You know what I mean? They're going to try to be like they've clearly shown, and Dan Campbell has clearly shown that he wants to be he's a competitive person and he loves the game of football. So he's going to try and be competitive with whatever, team he has out there on game day. So, do I think it's a rebuild? Like we need to tank or something? No, but like retooling and rebuilding is the same exact thing in the modern day NFL. You're basically just, like I said before, being conservative with your, assets, drafting a lot, cutting the fat, and then, maybe big spending once you believe you're a contender. And that's what it is. And like how long that takes is dependent on, just literally the outcome of events, if you draft correctly and whatnot. So it depends on how well Combs does drafting and how Dan Campbell makes the team competitive overall. I mean, like, we just got to wait and see at this point.
So I'm going to go next because I already know where Luke's going with this. I've seen his tweets. To me, I agree with you. Retooling, rebuilding, revamping, whatever you want to put in there, it's still, you are fixing a problem. A lot of people like to think rebuilding is you blow the whole thing up. There's not a single player that you're keeping, whatever. And I get that, but like, we literally have to rebuild the defense. You know what I'm saying? We have to blow it up and pretty much replace the majority of the guys. A retooling is like, well, you might change the scheme or you might add a player or two, but, you fix it up a little bit, it's there. We were allowing too many 40-point games. I'm sorry. You're blowing the shit up. And I think with the couple guys I had mentioned earlier, in the podcast, that there's like 5 guys that are starting caliber in the NFL on our defense, and we already have them under contract. So for me, I feel like after this year, next year, we'll be competent. And then after that third year, we'll have a better defense because of scheme, because of some of the players we have. And also I feel like they're really going to address it in free agency. I mean, not free agency, in the draft. So given that, I'm going to toss that over to you, Luke. What do you think?
The definition of a rebuild: to build something again that has been damaged or destroyed. The definition of a retool is to rearrange or to present or participate in something that needs to be adjusted. The definition of a renovation is to restore something to a good state of repair. The idea that the question was asked and everybody took a swift way to avoid the question of just saying whether you think it's a rebuild, retool, whatever, is comical to me. It's not a rebuild. And the reason it's not a rebuild is because this coaching staff has said so. I seen that Easy just put in there where they gave that guy 6 years because it's a rebuild. Really? We're the only team that do that, and now it's a rebuild. But other teams have did that and gave their guys 4 years or 5-year contracts, and they're not called rebuilds. The difference is this. When you are rebuilding something, that means that what you had here was good. What we had here for the last 3 seasons was not good. If you want to rebuild that, you should have kept Matt Patricia. That's the best rebuild you're going to get. If you're trying to get yourself to a point where you're getting over the hump, you got to be able to take what you have and retool it. And the problem is most of the people on this roster ain't going nowhere. That's a retool, right? So for me, they're doing renovations. Why? They got talent on this team, right? They got talent on the line. They're going to add to it to secure that offensive line. They're going to add to the defensive line. They're going to add to the linebacking core. They like their cornerbacks in Amani Oruwariye and Jeff Okudah. They like their safety. Notice I said their safety, i.e. Walker, and some people speculate that they like Harris. But if you look at this team, most of the issues that they had were coaching. And so when I look at that, I just simply say, how can we be a rebuild when you go out, trade your quarterback? Now, if they had to trade their quarterbacks and just got picks, and then they drafted a quarterback, and then you just let, I don't know, Tyrod Taylor or Fitzpatrick, like some of these people was offering up, that's a rebuild, okay? But when you go out and get Jared Goff, nothing about that say you're trying to lose this year. Teams who are rebuilding, or, 'cause I know the Lion fan base like to think different. Teams who are rebuilding are not going out getting comparable replacements. They're not doing it. Show me the team who's doing that. They did a rebuild and went and got comparable replacements on different levels. This is a team who's trying to aggressively sit there and set a foundation for now. And they're going to do it small changes. It is a renovation, a retooling of a sorts, but it's definitely not a rebuild.
So, but we're okay. Do you think they're going to make a big splash in free agency at all?
I think the big splash in free agency is getting people who fit the style of play that they want. That is the big splash.
Like who?
It don't matter who. I don't care who the person is. See, when people think of big splash, they think of a big name player. Oh, we went and got J.J. Watts with a splash. That's not a splash to me. That's not a splash to me. A splash to me is where I can see that you are upgrading every level of your team. When you go to and you look at people like the Dolphins was bringing in a bunch of people. Nobody said Calvin Noy splash. Who's finna?
They paid him a lot though. Like that's what I mean by a splash. I mean paying big money for players. I'm not saying one player in particular. I'm just saying in general, like paying top tier money. Do you think we're going to be doing that or not?
All of the players who are right, the splash. all the players who are free agents going to at certain points are going to garner it because it's based on intrinsic value. In other words, what if I deem it worthy, I'm going to pay it. Like to me, I never owned a pair of Jordan shoes. I don't deem them shoes worthy of $200 damn. It don't make no sense. I've owned one pair of Timberlands. Why? Because my feet were still fucking cold when I bought them. And I will not buy a pair of boots that can't even keep my feet warm in the winter.
Yeah, fuck Timberlands. I'm sorry, Luke, you got me upset. My feet are cold, these motherfuckers still.
Hey, it is true, man.
I'm just trying to point out to you that people are always going to get overpaid when people value them for what they think they're valued for. I'm just telling you that to me, the splash move comes in how the moves are made. Like, for example, who are you adding to it that you're putting into this puzzle that you can look and say, oh, he's going to be here and he's going to be here and they're going to do this and this is going to be that. Boom, I can see it. But if you're telling me that they got to go out and get a Jadeveon Clowney or they got to go out and sign some big name player, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're putting together a team. And that to me is a splash move because in the past, what we have done is those splash moves with signing big name people. This is why Trey Flowers is up there in the top defensive ends, and we ain't really getting much from him.
So Luke, the problem I have with the terminology you're using is that when I look at this roster, if I were to actually look at them and say you are a starting caliber player at your position in the NFL, there's about 10 players I'm keeping. Literally about 10. There's like Swift, Hawkinson, Ragnow, Jonah Jackson, Decker on the offense. Goff, yes, I have to see what he does with literally no receivers. But that's five players on the offense, and they were our strong suit. You look at the defense, obviously you're keeping Flowers. You know, Shelton is cheap, whatever. You have Pennicini, who could be productive. We don't know what we're getting from Julian Okwara. Romeo is going to be gone. And then you have players like Okuda that we don't know if he's going to be a bust yet. Our linebackers below. You have Tracy Walker, who had a really bad year. You have Amani. So what does that really leave you? That doesn't leave you with much starting caliber talent. And that's why, to us, it's a rebuild because, yes, you're not, obviously the in it.
Did you name Jared Davis?
I'm not even going to go there with you.
No, listen. Real talk. I'm just asking. Did you name him, though? Did you name him?
No, he could go, bro.
But stay with me. Hold on. This is what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you something. Just stay with me. You didn't name Jared Davis because your fandom and you say he's not there. He's not it. But Dan Campbell likes him. Aaron Glenn likes him. They think he's a stud, like I know, right? And what I'm telling you is just because you, the fandom, think you only see 10 players worthwhile, I'm telling you the professionals are telling you that's bullshit. I got more than 10 players. So that's all I'm pointing out to you.
I feel you on that. And yes, as much as I hate Jared Davis, he has shown flash when he had a good D line in front of him.
Every linebacker do that.
Yeah, but so like my thing is, honestly, besides like those 10 guys I listed, and even if you want to throw in Davis there, who else is there that could be a foundational piece to our starting team?
Whoever is the talent that they deem fits what they're doing. This is the thing I don't like about our fan base, and where I get irritated at is the fact that we're willing to give bad coaches 3 years. Good coaches get fired. We're willing to overlook. We're willing to down good quarterbacks, but then we get another quarterback and he's not good enough. See, this is just the stuff I'm talking about. We're never happy with what we got, and we ain't happy when it's gone. And then when it come back in hindsight, we play like we was Nostradamus and want to say, "See, I told you." But see, this the truth. When it comes to football, you have to build a team. I'm not looking for a lot of those names of the players. I'm a Buccaneers fan, so I can name a lot of the Buccaneers players. But most of those people on the Buccaneers ain't nobody like super high value. Like, but let's be honest. I ain't trying to be funny. The D-line of the Buccaneers is stupid. You got Jason Pierre-Paul, you got Ndamukong Suh, you got Vita Vea. Then your linebackers, they just got to basically fill the right gaps. That's perfect. The safety players there too. But you go through them cornerbacks, man. Who are them cornerbacks? Let's talk about
Luke. Hey, just before you finish, their entire D-line is made up of literally like first-round picks. They have Levante David, and their cornerbacks, they have Bunting, or Jesus Christ. They got Carlton Davis, Bunting, and they have Antoine Winfield, which you yourself said was a B safety coming out of college this last year. And he showed it. And he showed it, yeah. So their defense is really good.
I know. And what I'm pointing out to you is this. You're naming first-round people, and I'm telling you that most of those people that they added, that they brought into there, they were set up to create the team. They wasn't set up to say, "Oh, we making a splash." And Ndamukong Suh took a 1-year deal. He could have got way more money than what he got, but he took a 1-year deal.
Yeah. So I mean, the common theme is they built their front seven.
The common theme is you have to build a team. And so instead of looking at free agency and saying who's the splash, because remember, we was all excited when we got Coleman because we just figured he gonna play slot. We didn't expect for him to ever be tossed to the outside. Shit, what a fail that was. I remember I got chewed out by J-Mo. Shout out to my homie because he always try to check off on me and I love it. Him and Easy be like, come like the new J-Mo. He try to check. You do too, damn Andrew. Now I think about it. But anyway,
we gotta keep everyone in check, you know.
We got to. But what I'm saying is I remember I got chewed out for saying that's what you find. Don't stay healthy. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm like, okay. You know, I'm telling you, he don't stay healthy. No, he got all right. Y'all better pray to God that what you calling ready to go, because I'm telling you that man ain't gonna be healthy. And I just looked at it and I go by what I see. I'm just pointing out to you that at the end of the day, it don't need to be a super splash per se. What it needs to be is a comprehensive collection of players that you can see like, oh, they work good together. When Sue went over to the Rams and they had Forrest, what the hell's name? Buckner. I can never pronounce his name. Brickashard, whatever the fuck his damn name is. DeForest. Him. They had Aaron Donald. They had Aaron Donald and Sue, and that team went to that team looked like they should have won the Super Bowl 12 times over. But that team was a bought for team. They wasn't all cohesive players. They just tried to buy a championship. They didn't put together cohesive players, and that's why it failed. I want to put together a team. When you look at the Pistons, when we won the championship with the Pistons, that was a team.
Look, I feel you. The problem is that like you look at like the Bucks, you look at like the 49ers, all these teams were drafted. The majority of their starting team was drafted by the team. So it's a little different, you know what I'm saying? Like they had the Bucks had a very good defense last year before,
and they drafted most of those players.
Yeah, you know, so like that's what we have to do.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying the splash part I don't care about.
Look, I think we're all saying the same thing, just different ways, man. Like I just think that you know, Luke, you saying that not to make a one big splash, I think that's exactly what we're saying. You know, put pieces that need to be put there, but like, you know, just don't make a big play for big money for no reason if we're not gonna, you know, if we don't have the foundation there. And with these draft picks coming up, we're just gonna have to wait and see.
And good teams who build their teams do it through the draft. That's just the reality of it. You have to be able to that. The thing about the good teams that you see that succeed, their teams is, like you said, mostly made of draft picks. And so when you start doing the things that other people do, like try to buy these championships, they're going to fail every single time. You can't buy a championship in this because you're going to have too many people who don't match. It's one, so that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. So, guys, we've been on for about an hour and 50 minutes. Start posting your questions. We'll go on to one last topic. Just before we go on the topic, I feel you, Luke. The problem is that to be able to do that, you got to have consistency at coaching. You got to have consistency in a lot of different areas. And obviously, we're one of the worst franchises.
Not even close. The only thing we rebuild, and I hate to say it, the only thing that we rebuild was the front office. That was it. Most of those people that was in those higher positions have been relieved of their duties, and the ones who were in supportive roles had to re-interview under the new people. That's the only thing we rebuild. But outside of that, man, this team is saying, I'm trying to build a team.
Yeah, and just kind of following up on that, that's where that cohesiveness goes into play, right? Because each head coach has his own philosophy. Each general manager has their own philosophy, and so every time we get a new one, it's restarting their philosophy. You know what I'm saying? So just like Patricia, last year we saw so much turnover because we got to bring in all the guys that fit my philosophy.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, the biggest mistake was keeping that man for a third year because that dug us into a further hole. Because I knew they were gonna make desperation moves, i.e., a 6th-round pick for a DN who wasn't gonna give you a damn thing.
That's desperation.
Like no, listen. If they had did that at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't have cared. He would have had a full season to prove it, right? But they didn't. They did the opposite. We was not special. Nothing about us said we were going to be good and he was going to change it. So why give up any capital for a guy that wasn't going to change anything for us? And when you look at it, he did not change a single damn thing.
Luke, you love those late round picks, man.
No, you know what? You know what I love? You know what I love? It's not that I love my late round picks. It's that I understand that good teams win these battles by drafting. There have been a lot of players who have went undrafted who were great players, like John Randall, one of my favorite D linemen. Special guy. You know what I'm saying? You go through and you look at some of the other people. Arian Foster, I love him as a running back. He wasn't drafted. What the other dude, Philip Lindsay over in Denver? I think he was either an undrafted guy or a late round pick. Those guys perform. You got to be able to find those talents and build those teams. The problem with the Lions is we keep trying to live in the first round. And the history is saying that living in the first round don't win you games. It's what you do rounds 2 through 7. And then how you support those with the free agency. So I'm just trying to put us in a position where we're going to be successful no matter what.
Right. So, that kind of leads me into our last question before we take the questions. And it's just, what would the biggest mistake be for the Lions this upcoming offseason? And I'll start with you, Rio.
I mean, I've said it like a million times at this point. Yeah, I've said it like a million times. Just don't be a big spender in free agency is my thing. You know what I mean? We have these picks coming up, fill these big holes that we have in the draft and do it that way. Don't be a big spender. And, in the future, we can use that rollover money just like the Colts are doing now. They're in a great position to win, and I want to be in that position.
Okay.
I think the biggest mistake they can make is drafting a quarterback at 7th.
Oh man, here we go.
I'm finna tell you why. You got a guy under contract who is going to cost you less than the guy you were going to pay. You're going to pay the other guy $34 million. You're going to pay this one about 28, 27, somewhere in that area, right? So if you're drafting a quarterback right now at the 7th pick, then what you're really telling is the guy who's playing right now, who you're going to be paying $28 million to, that we don't really believe in you. You're just here as a bridge guy. And if you're doing that, you're creating the same cycle of losing. Because why is he going to give you his all knowing that you guys have no confidence in him? If you did, you wouldn't have did it. What they need to do is they need to build a team up first and treat it as if though I don't care who I plug in at quarterback, they should succeed. I don't care who I plug in at running back, they should succeed because I have key components of the team built up foundationally. But if they take that quarterback at 7, that means that you just wasted a draft capital asset that could have been used for 1, more draft picks, more draft capital, or two, a weapon who can come in and help this team now. You're taking a quarterback at 7, he's not playing this year. And the first thing that's going to happen, because this is Detroit, I know these fans, As soon as Jared Goff throw one interception, man, bring in goddamn Trey Lance. Will y'all will somebody please put in Trey Lance, or somebody please put in whoever the quarterback there is, put him in. And that right there creates another dilemma. We cannot do that.
You said it'd be the same losing cultures or whatever you said, and hence the same as like what we did before. We've never done that before. What we did is like the opposite. It was suck Matthew Stafford's dick for no reason and cater to him like there were other needs in building a true complete team, and that's what resulted in losing. Not preparing for the future and you know, with your cap space and whatnot by drafting a quarterback. What changed your team is the two positions I think of a defensive end, I think of a quarterback. If you have an opportunity to take a top 10 quarterback, you still have 2 years with 2 first-round picks to build that team around him and then mold him to what you're trying to do. You learn all his strengths and weaknesses without putting it on tape and exposing them to other teams. And then you build around those same attributes. Then you plug and play that second or third year, like a Patrick Mahomes situation. It's money, easy money.
Again, this is something that
I'm there though. This is something
that I would never. This is something I'm not going to debate with you before because I've already had this debate with you. And the reality is this: what you're saying for them to do just does not make sense. And you're asking them to go out and do something because this whole idea of, well, you build a team around the guy you're taking 7th overall. Then why in the hell did you bring Goff here? Because if you're building a whole team around your draft pick at 7, why are we bringing Goff here?
That's because that's how we got the picks, Luke, and that's also the best deal on the table.
Okay.
They literally asked for Aaron Donald.
If what they wanted to do is what you were talking about, the best deal on the table was with the Panthers, where you get Teddy Bridgewater and you get the 8th overall pick. Yes, it is. Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because essentially what you're doing is this: you're saying you want to build a team around your pick that you're going to take at 7. So if you get Teddy Bridgewater and you then turn around and take your quarterback at 7, you now got they pick at 8 to add a weapon for your future quarterback. This shit don't make sense, but this is what you want. So I'm going along with your process. So what I'm trying to point out to you is the biggest mistake that they can make is take somebody that we can't freaking use this year.
All right, no, because we're not doing anything this year regardless, Luke.
Listen, we want to get to that next part of that question so he can get to other people. But I'm just telling you what my biggest mistake is: taking that quarterback at 7.
So easy. You know, what would be your biggest mistake then?
My biggest mistake, if one of those quarterbacks are there, not taking them.
Who do you want?
The top 4. So obviously, I don't think Lawrence is going to be there.
Yeah, who? He wanted the name.
That's why I started doing, Luke.
Okay, give it to who. I want to know who we taking. Even though we got our quarterback for 3 years, but go ahead.
2 years, for sure. At least 2 years.
2 years.
But as I was saying, so I said Trevor Lawrence, and I was interrupted. Zach Wilson be the second guy if he's there. Obviously, you pull the trigger on him. Justin Fields, I'm not as high on, but him and or Trey Lance. Because the other thing too with taking these rookie quarterbacks in this 2 years time when Goff is done and then you're ready to plug this guy in, you have so much cap space to bring in the extra pieces to take you over the top. In 2 years' time, Nick Bosa is going to be a free agent. Devin White's going to be a free agent. A tons of other people too. Like I don't even have the list in front of me. If I would, you guys probably be salivating at your mouth. Like goddamn, like you got a point. You know, say like when you have cap space like that, when you have a quarterback friendly or a team friendly contract for your quarterback, you're gonna build that fucking team up. Coupled with the fact that we have 4 first rounders in the next 2 years. If you have a guy that you can fill Jared Goff's shoes in 2 years, take that fucking guy. Absolutely. And if you're saying you want to take a quarterback years later, but you're also telling me we're winning 8 games, that means you want to trade our picks to get a guy at quarterback. That's still going to be a question mark. I'd rather keep the picks and build the team. Especially talking about building the team, you keep all your picks and take the guys in front of you now. But if it's not those guys, I'm good. That's the biggest.
Do you think what Luke said is accurate? That if we get one of those rookie quarterbacks, the Lions fan base is going to demand that we play them over Goff as soon as Goff starts playing, not up to par.
I mean, yeah, people are gonna. There's fucking people who think we're gonna go 8-8 next year. You know, people are gonna have some takes that we don't agree with or necessarily don't make sense, like that. But that doesn't mean it's not the right move.
But I think that they will be pressured and then ultimately will start him. And then that will be a problem because then if he's good, or if he shows he's better than Goff, then you cut Goff and then you have to ultimately pay the rookie quarterback in a couple of years. So then you're not.
And that's fine because you still
Yeah,
have
I guess.
4 years before you pay that rookie quarterback. Like,
I guess, yeah.
and then the year that you're cutting Goff, that's only 13 mil. I'll eat that to start a better quarterback on a rookie deal.
You would eat it. You ain't it coming out your pocket. That don't make no sense.
I just want our franchise quarterback to be the right guy, and I'm just skeptical on Lance and Fields, and I feel like we're gonna jump the gun just because we have a top 10 pick. You know what I mean?
That's the only reason of the 2 years of truth right there.
You can sit. And then
right, but not
like because the other thing too is like he's not like you have to put him in situation because like or not what you say about Goff, he's definitely serviceable.
Yeah, but sitting doesn't make a good quarterback like unbelievably great. Like you have to have the talent, and if these aren't the guys, then they're not the guys. You know what I mean? I don't want to waste my damn time.
But they're gonna get better without being what they're not good at, being put on tape for other teams to see.
But I just don't believe that that's going to happen. I think the Lions will end up starting him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
What is that
start this year unless it was like an injury or like he played Wentz level bad.
I don't know.
But hold on, this is the reality though. Let's be honest. What does it say? What does it say, real, to your quarterback you just traded for? When you take another quarterback third, like
fuck what it says to him. He's gone in 2 years.
I mean, it says, hey, you better step up your fucking game. Like your ass is on the line. You know, that's what it means.
Now listen. Let me take it a step further. Right,
real quick too. I just want to say when we watched the interview with Anthony Lynn, he said we took a rookie quarterback. I'd rather sit him, but if he's playing better, you're gonna have to start him. They already put the message out there that everyone on this team, not just the quarterback position, is gonna have to earn their job, and I respect the fuck out of that. I think that's how you build a great team and competitive culture. Like within that, we want people playing at the highest level, and that's how you do. You put fire on that ass.
Right.
Yeah. I guess the hard part is like how I look at it is I'm with Luke. You know, I think if you take a quarterback this year, it would fucking suck. And for many reasons, you know, the first one I think about is the fact that we're going to have a serious cap problem because yes, you know, he's on a rookie contract, but Goff's contract goes into the majority of whatever contract this rookie would be getting. So that means that you would constantly have a very high paying contract at the quarterback position. And a first round pick, especially a top 10, they're going to get good money. Like they're not getting no cheap deal.
Like the average is $6 million.
Yeah. But for someone that's sitting, you know what I'm saying? And then like, let's say,
look, put this in perspective. Chase Daniel's making $4 million. It's only $2 million more than him.
Yes, but the problem is that we are never going to pay Chase Daniels.
We should have never paid Chase Daniels.
We've been paying him. Like we signed up for it. Like
but my point is like, all right, so let's say we draft Lance, right? And even if we use Goff for the next 2 years, we let Lance sit. After those 2 years, let's say we have Lance play, we're gonna have to pay Lance hella money after only basically using him for a year or two.
3 years,
and that's the problem I have.
And that's good. You have 3 years to make something happen. Like that's like, how is that a bad thing?
He's sitting
those
off contract. We're gonna have to pay him. Like yeah,
but it's one thing if you didn't have a quarterback with quarterback money already on your team. If we just literally didn't have Goff, that would be perfectly fine with me. But the fact that we do and Goff's contract is big, and that's why it's worrisome because he's going to get hella money unless we restructure it somehow. You know, and so then you're looking at the rest of the team and you're like, wow, we don't have a single receiver.
No, man.
Jamar Chase. Wow, we need a tackle.
Only $2 million more than the guy that's there right now that you're set to pay.
Yes, but
you can't say, oh, we're tied up, we're stuck paying this guy $6 million. We got to fill out the rest of our $6 million ain't shit. Especially too, and this is the one question. I'm sorry too. I don't mean to like. I'm not trying to be aggressive at all, but it's weak to me. It's only $2 more million in the guys in that position right now.
Yes, I agree with what you are saying.
You're not looking at the total quarterback position.
Real quick. Let me ask this though: what position or player can you draft at 7 that's gonna have as big as an impact as a quarterback on a rookie deal?
Offensive lineman.
Right now, he's that
offensive lineman. Yes, that one offensive lineman. Yes,
because that's what going to save you $14 million 2 years from now.
But guess what? That offensive lineman is going to play this year. That quarterback not. So if the quarterback is not playing, what is he doing for us any damn way?
Guess what?
That's equivalent to you trying to have sex with a dead woman. You ain't gonna get no enjoyment out of that. It's cold. It's uncomfortable.
Offensive linemen are expensive. What do you mean?
Listen, I'm no. What I'm talking about is this. I'm talking about the ability to be able to have somebody that come in. He said, who's going to come in and have more impact than the quarterback? The offensive lineman, because the quarterback is not playing. I don't care who the quarterback is. He's not playing. So if the quarterback is not playing, why not use that asset to trade back and get more capital and get your team better? Why? If you just stuck at 7, then you better take somebody who could come in and play right now. Period. I'm not taking a quarterback. He can't play right now. If we did it the way that I wanted to do it, we would have capped Stafford. We could have then took our quarterback, because guess why? With Stafford, I didn't take a cap hit. I got room to wiggle around with. I took a $19 million cap hit. So now I'm going to take a $19 million cap hit and then turn my butt around and still and get another quarterback. Then I'm going to draft another quarterback to then do what? We got 5 more picks to go and fix the defense and to fix other parts. That don't make sense. You got to find ways to get people who can help you right now. Build your team.
There's not a single piece at that spot that's going to help us right now. This is a rebuild or retool, however you want to say it. There's still so many holes in this team that we have to be realistic about that we're not going to fill this
Quarterback
year.
ain't one of them. Quarterback ain't one of the holes. So you talk about all these holes. Is quarterback one of the holes we got? No.
No, but there's still everything that we had this year.
Listen, don't go nowhere.
You're still gonna have holes.
Don't go nowhere. Listen, don't go nowhere.
You have first round picks the year after that to address those holes.
Listen. You're already going to skip past 2. Let's go back to the original question. Is quarterback one of those holes?
No.
Then we don't need to talk about quarterback. We're done. It's not one of the holes. Why waste an asset on something that we don't need to waste it on? We need to fix a hole. We need a tackle, right?
Invest in the long term.
So okay, you have 2 first-round picks next year, right? You have 2 first-round picks next year, right?
And just for this fact, either too, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are the only quarterbacks to make the type of money that Jared Goff is getting paid that win a Super Bowl. Every other team quarterback has been on a team-friendly deal. And that's what we do not have in Jared Goff.
Oh, my sweet baby Jesus. Listen.
Hold on. Let me take over for a second. So I hear what you're saying, Easy, but that means that you are basically saying that we're going to get something done in the 3rd and 4th year of Lance being on his rookie deal. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So let me ask you.
By the 3rd year, for sure.
So if we take a quarterback this year, and then we have him sit for 2 years, right? We free up Goff's contract, and then you have it.
Maybe even 1 year.
Okay, so what is that going to do for our 32nd ranked defense or our non-existent wide receiver room?
Do you think that problem is getting fixed this year in this offseason?
That's the thing, though, is I'd rather fix the holes we have.
But do you think it's going to get solved this year? Like it's just.
Yes,
you never know, man. You could hit a Hall of Famer at any point, and I'd rather.
But is that what you think is going to happen?
I mean, it's possible. My theory is to trade back.
How many years did you have us at?
Wait, say that again.
When you were asking the rebuild, like you asked, like how long do you think this rebuild or retooling, whatever you guys want to call it?
Oh, 2 to 3 years, but that's not with taking a quarterback this year. That's for sure.
Right?
I think with Andrews
taking that amount of time to fill your holes either way. And then you could open up yourself to in that 2 to 3 year span when you're at that point to add even more pieces because you have more cap space.
Oh my god!
To sign, like I said, a Nick Bosa or some shit like that, like easy being super serviceable to teams on the defensive end. You have the ability to do that.
Easy, but why can't we address the quarterback position in 2 years when we do have 2 first-round picks where there could be a monster quarterback? You know, you said yourself. You're like, well.
Could it be 3 first?
Yeah, true. I'm kind of iffy on Fields. I'm kind of iffy on Lance, but yet you'd rather take them right now rather than waiting. Every single year, there's ridiculously good quarterbacks coming out, you know, that weren't really projected that. Like, where the hell was Zach Wilson? Where is Joe Burrow? Where were these guys at the beginning of the season? They were not ranked top 1, top 2. You know what I'm saying? And
because you could be for all the same reason I said, you have those 2 years to mold him, to learn what he's capable of. And to do everything for him, because there's not a single piece at the number 7 position that's going to turn this team around.
But what they're saying is if you fill out the holes now and then get a quarterback, then you'll have 4 years straight of the rookie deal. You know what I'm saying?
You can't guarantee you're going to be in this position to draft another top 10 quarterback.
You don't
That
have
can't
to
be
draft
guaranteed. Now, if there's a guy that you want to get, right? So you're talking about, okay, years down the line, we can get the quarterback. Now you're talking about where, like, if it's someone we really want to pull the trigger on that we like a lot more or something like that. If we're not at number one position or top 10, then we're giving up those draft assets to get them. And I'd rather keep the draft picks.
So where was Mahomes and Watson taken? Where was
Mahomes? I believe was taken 10th. Watson, 14 or something?
Where was A-Rod taken?
I don't know, 31, 32.
24?
So I actually just
Russell
saw
Wilson?
that recently, and it said that first-round quarterbacks miss 68% of the time.
Facts.
68%. And I'm not just saying that,
this.
bro. Like, you have people that even went 1 and 2, right? You have freaking Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota.
Don't forget Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf, RG3. You know, so many quarterbacks are huge busts, and I would rather have a team and build a team and then plug in even a average quarterback than to invest a first-round pick right now when we have so many holes.
This guy will
You know what's funny, Andrew? You know what's funny, Andrew? You know who did that and missed their opportunity because they couldn't get out their own way with poor coaching? The Dallas Cowboys. They had a complete team put together, defense, offensive line, run game, and all Dak looked like he was stellar for all that time. And all they had to do at the right time was say, we moving on from this head coach. But they didn't want to do that because the owner was in love with the redhead gunslinger, Jason Garrett. And now look at them. They go out and get Mike McCartney, and it's not even nothing going popping or anything going good. Why? Because they missed the window. It didn't make sense. But you want to be able to plug a player in and succeed. You go and look at another team who did that. The Seattle Seahawks. Everybody act like, no, they didn't. They went out and got Matt freaking Flynn because they was trying to get a quarterback. But what happened was Russell Wilson balled out in preseason, and they started him and said, hey, we can use this guy over Matt Flynn because guess what? We got a run game of defense and protection for him. And so what happened? He had success early on. You do not go out when you got the holes that we got and decide that I'm going to fill a spot that's not a hole because I just want to. That is the dumbest thing and most same old lion move you can possibly do.
Not same Lions move at all because we've never done that before. It's something that teams like the Packers done.
The Packers ain't did it.
Franchise.
Quit telling that lie. The Packers didn't do that. The Packers had Brett Favre. Okay,
they drafted a quarterback first round to sit.
They drafted the quarterback.
The thing about
the quarterback, they were picking 24. They wasn't picking 7th. They were picking 24, and they knew that Aaron Rodgers. They knew that Aaron Rodgers was a good quarterback, and they said, oh, you know what? We're going to take him. We're going to take him because guess what? We have a team already, and our quarterback is Brett Favre.
I'm going to give you a perfect scenario. Easy. Would you rather be the Houston Texans investing in Deshaun Watson, or would you rather be the 49ers with that stellar defense, that good O-line, up-and-coming young wide receiver core, and a run game?
The 49ers. But I don't understand. But hold on, because you have 2 first-round picks the next 2 drafts. Like you're speaking as if we can't build that with what we have available to us.
But the difference,
because again, you still can't name one single position that's going to have the impact of a quarterback who hits. You just can't. And even if that quarterback is just as serviceable as Jared Goff, the cap space situation provides so much more for you there too.
Again, so what if we do hit with a wide receiver, or we do hit with an offensive tackle, or a D lineman, or linebacker, or something?
They're still not going to have the impact of a quarterback hitting.
Well, so here's the thing. I agree with you, right? Obviously, the quarterback is the most important position on the team.
If it hits.
If it hits, yes. But the problem is that even if it hits, and that's why I referenced the Houston Texans, it doesn't matter if your fucking team sucks. And the worst part about it is the Texans had a lot of talent. They had D-Hop. They had J.J. Watt. They had Tyrann Mathieu at one point. They had Clowney, which Clowney was better when he was with the Texans, whatever. But they had talent.
Look, I don't necessarily agree with that because it doesn't matter to me if you have the opportunity to draft a guy like Deshaun Watson, knowing how good he is now, you take it. So I'm with Easy on that.
You never will know.
but you won't know is the problem. And I personally don't think Fields or Lance are that guy. So that's why I just don't want to do that. Yeah.
And that's a personal thing. And I get it. Like you could say that because like I can't change that. That's your opinion on those players. But like again, we all agree that if we take that motherfucker and that motherfucker hits, man, that's a fucking jackpot for us, man. But in terms of just again,
if Godzilla attacked
we can
Detroit,
still build this
King
team.
Kong gonna come save it.
That's the thing I'm lost on. You guys are talking about this one player. If it's trade back situation, that's different. Okay, I get that.
I
But
think
a pick at 7, a one player pick at 7, that's not touching the impact of what
listen.
This could
The
do.
only question that matters is this,
Not
though.
even close.
Easy. Only question that
And
matters.
you still have those 2 first-round picks in the next 2 years. Like,
Do we
you
have
still
a hole at
opportunity to
quarterback?
build a team, and even better so, build it to the attributes that we have sitting on the bench.
Do we have
will
a
come in.
hole at quarterback, Easy?
We do not have a hole at quarterback, Luke.
And
but
that's
we
the
have
only
too many
thing that
holes that
matters.
are not going to
You
be
want
filled
us to
this
take
year.
a quarterback, and I'm a guy.
Thing.
I want to be fair. I'm a guy who thinks that there's a lot of potential for Trey Lance. That man has played 2 seasons. Okay, 2 seasons. In his one good season, I know he didn't have no interceptions, but North Dakota State ain't fighting against no damn body. Seriously, let's stop playing with that. Second of all, this guy don't know how to damn slide. The idea on if he hits, that if is for any player you take when you're drafting, which is why I say it's about getting the pick right. You have certain beliefs in your head that just don't never hold true, and I'm not trying to say that they are wrong, but I'm just going to say that they're
I want to know
different.
what ones don't hold true.
I'm just going to tell you that they're different. Now, what I'm going to point out is this. If we don't have a hole at quarterback, why in the hell are we taking one? Do we not have a hole at right tackle?
Because taking that quarterback
that's not my question.
Way more holes than you.
That's not my question.
One player you take this year.
That's not my question. Y'all notice he avoiding the question. Let me try the question again. Do we have a hole at, say, I don't know, D-line? Do we have a hole at, say, safety? Do we have a hole at wide receiver? Do we have a hole at right tackle? Yes or no?
Luke, there's holes in all those spots. Let me ask you this. Is taking one player at 7 filling all those holes?
Well,
there's another answer. Go ahead. You press me to answer the same question. Does that taking one player fill all those holes?
Listen.
You're taking one player fill all those holes, Luke? Yes or no?
You're asking a redundant question because you're asking just one. We only get one pick. I can't take all those. I can fill one hole. What the hell?
Too many holes to fill in this 1 year. You have 2 first rounders in the next 2 years. We can build a team.
But that's counterproductive.
Hold on.
That's a count. Yeah, but that
even more. Like,
easy. Give me a minute. Give me a minute so you can hear. You're not listening right now. I want you to hear me out. Listen to me, Easy.
Luke, just answer that question. Does it feel
easy? Listen to me really quick.
Does it feel the rest of the
question? Listen, Easy.
It's a no. It's a no.
Listen. He's asking me to answer a question. When we get how many picks in the first round this year? How many picks? Easy. How many picks do we get in the first round?
Shit.
Easy. How many picks do we get in the first round?
There's a hole here, there's a hole here, there's a hole here. Okay, so we have this one pick. You talking about all those?
Hold on, wait a minute. Easy, stop. See, listen. You want to keep talking because you don't want to hear it. So stay with me.
I just want to answer the question.
Listen. Your question is redundant, and I'm telling you why it's redundant.
The question.
I'm telling you your question is redundant. We get one pick. So how's one pick going to fill all those holes? That's a redundant. That's like me asking, can one man change the world?
So you agree?
Man ain't changing the world.
You agree? One pick. Okay.
I agree that question is redundant. So I'm trying to ask you this question: How many picks do we get in the first round?
That question is redundant, Luke.
I know. I think you guys are. You're looking for the word rhetorical.
I know he thinks it's a redundant question because the bottom line is this: we get one pick in the first round, and if I can use that one pick in the first round to fill one of those many holes, that makes more sense to me to fill a spot that's not a hole. Secondly, we got 6 total picks. So if I got 6 holes on this team, I can fill my 6 holes with this draft because I got 6 freaking picks. But you know what I can do with that one pick? That one pick that you want to waste on the quarterback, even though that's not a hole, I can trade that pick and get more picks and fill even more holes. Hell, I might even be able to just get some backups in here. I might be able to add another first.
Now the trade situation is different. The trade situation
doesn't matter. You want a quarterback at 7 because that doesn't. Your viewpoint, it doesn't. That quarterback ain't gonna fix all the holes we got, and that one pick that
there's more of a chance of that one quarterback fixing all those holes in any one position.
Hole, and yours can't.
You're talking about
yours can't. My one pick can fill a hole. Your pick does not. The quarterback don't fill a hole. We don't
have how my one pick fills more holes.
We don't have a hole at quarterback. We don't have a hole at quarterback.
Hold up. So
my pick fills more holes than Johnny Sins, and it's because of the cap space situation.
So Easy, let me ask you then. There's multiple teams this year that plugged in quarterbacks, right? You have Tua, you got Justin Herbert, and you got Burrow. Just those first round picks, right?
Yeah, this guy's not getting plugged in his rookie year. This guy's sitting 1 to 2 years.
So, and that's fine, right? We saw what Tua did when he sat behind Fitzpatrick. Yeah, it's not a full year, but like,
yeah, it's not really sitting behind.
You know what I'm saying? But like, there's other quarterbacks that have sat too that didn't turn out, you know, and
Like
it's
Patrick
such a
Mahomes,
rare.
Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Should we go on?
Yeah, I mean, you gave those couple positions, but like, there's
Deshaun
also
Watson,
many quarterbacks who
Lamar
have came in
Jackson.
right away and have dominated the league. You know, Josh Allen came
but
in.
Here's this point though, not to the point where you're going to get a Super Bowl. You're not going to draft a rookie quarterback and then win a Super Bowl. He's more likely, a la Patrick Mahomes, that you're going to plug a guy into something that's already built and knows the system and shit like that. That you're going to, to a Super Bowl, to NFC, AFC Championship.
And I agree, but the emphasis is on the already built aspect. We have so many things. I just personally don't think it would be a good idea to invest in a rookie quarterback now when we're going to have him sit anyways. And I don't want him to go through the shit Stafford went through. I don't want him to go through the shit Watson's going through. You know,
he wouldn't go through that because he's sitting. Like it's not the same situation at all.
But let's say you do that, right? And then he comes into a situation that hasn't been fixed. There's no guarantee that we could fix this defense in the next 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And then he has to try and put up 40 points a freaking week.
Well, no, because if he's the guy that's starting, then you could add those guys, those splash. Psh, you can add those types of names to that defense because you have a quarterback that's on a rookie deal. I get it. Like if you don't feel these quarterbacks are like going to be anything, okay, that's fine. And again, because that's your opinion, and you can have that. I think that they, at worst case scenario, they could be serviceable. They could be a Jared Goff and also affordable that allows you to get more pieces. Like, yes, it's not a hole, but this could lead to so many more holes being filled down the line.
Down the line, we're trying to win now,
and we're not going to win now, Luke. But you still have the opportunity to build the team. We have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, to say we're not,
we can't get a quarterback. We can't get a quarterback with 4 first-round picks next year.
Hold on, Luke. To say we don't have the capability of building a whole team from this one pick, like it's just silly to say. You know what I'm saying that there's 4 first rounders in the next 2 years.
Oh my God.
You can still build.
So we've been talking about this topic for a while. I think we should wrap it up. We've been on for almost 2.5 hours. You know, we always got Thursday coming around the corner where we can talk about it some more. So Real, I'm gonna throw it to you. You know, what are some of your final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about a lot today. So, I mean, just final thoughts is it's a wait and see season. But ultimately, I hope that they just treat free agency conservatively and do the best they can scouting with this COVID year and without any combine or anything like that. So, you know, I wish the best to the Lions and, you know, hope for the best. But I think we need to look towards the future and be conservative with our money so that we can mirror what the Colts did, because they are just in such a prime position with all that capital.
Can I just ask one more question too?
For sure.
If it were Trevor Lawrence with the quarterback that was there.
Yeah, no, I would take him. Yeah, for sure. Because I think that he is going to be special.
Yeah. Is the cap space makes sense then there too? Like, because you think
that's sacrificing it to me. That's sacrificing it because if you do take somebody in 2 years, let's say you trade your 2 picks for a quarterback in 2 years, then you're going to have that rookie contract for a longer time with that benefit of, you know, paying your quarterback such a low amount, because you're not doing that if you take a quarterback today, you know, this year, because you're still paying Goff. So then once Goff is paid off or you cut him or whatever and take the dead money, then you only have 2 years until you have to pay this rookie quarterback. So it's only 2 years of that benefit of low paying quarterbacks, you know, compared to 4 to 5 years.
Which is good. You can still win in the structure like Mahomes, bro. Like, I don't.
Right, but that's because Mahomes is phenomenal.
I don't see how 2 good years is a bad thing though. Versus
right. So that's what I'm saying. If it's Trevor Lawrence and I think that he can be like Mahomes, sure, you know, but I don't have that faith in those 2 guys. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, like
part of it too is that's relying
the strategy.
Yeah, part of it too is like in those situations, like they had very, very good teams around them. You know what I'm saying? So like if we can fix it, then yeah, I'm sure I'll look back on my words and be like, damn, this was the right move. But like in all seriousness, we've been waiting for his defense to get fixed for 8 years.
How long Sue been gone?
You said what?
How long Sue been gone from the Lions?
It's been a minute. It's been.
That's how long we've been. That's how long we've been waiting for it. We got the rocket science genius coordinator that everybody wanted for 3 seasons, and now we sit up here playing pussyfoot with the facts. And the facts is this team needs to start to build the Lion way, the Lion identity, and they're not going to do that with filling in spots that are not holes.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's just one of those things that obviously we can voice our opinion, left and right, or blue in the face. But in all seriousness, like
Luke,
we never know.
If Trevor Lawrence was the guy there, you're still not picking him because there's other holes.
Yes, I'm still not taking him. Even if Trevor Lawrence is there, I'm still not taking him.
By the way, Luke also wanted to take quarterback a couple weeks back too. By the way,
no, you're right. I did 100%. and here go the best part about it, right? When I said take a quarterback, I said take a quarterback with the idea that we keep Stafford.
After Goff even.
No, I said even with the idea that if you're keeping Stafford, then you're doing it. But now that you got Jared Goff and Jared Goff is here, he's the guy. I said, listen, you can take whatever you want, to be all honest. But the more I look at this team, the more I look at what our coaches and everybody is talking about, the more they're talking about doing stuff now. They're not doing what we're doing as fans with loser mentality, talking about, well, we're doing it 2 or 3 years from now. No, they're winning now. They're trying to create a foundation now. When I look at my head coach giving his speech and his opening statements as a new head coach, he wasn't talking about 2 or 3 years down the line. He's talking about right now. It's simple about what the mentality is going to be. And to me, if you're talking about a person who's talking about right now, he's not thinking about down the line. He's thinking about right now. And at the end of the day, I'm just simply saying this. If we're sitting up there talking about taking a quarterback, for example, if Trevor Lawrence somehow slips past the first round all the way down to the freaking Lions at 7, I'm got questions in the first place. Like, what the hell went on? What we missed? What we don't know? Okay, but let's be honest. If I got opportunity to do something that we have never did, which is build a complete team and plug in the quarterback so he can succeed, I'm taking my opportunity to build my complete team. I'm sick of us taking quarterbacks just for no reason. We did that already.
We took a quarterback in like 10 years, 20. Like what?
How many quarterbacks before we got Stafford did we have? 17. Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna get to it. 17. Look at the quarterback. They tried to sit Joey Harrington and he told him when they drafted him he was gonna sit, and he was tossed into play. And then told what he can't audible out of. I'm just pointing out the small, simple facts that what it is. If we're going to play this game of saying forget it, we forget the fact they're trying to fill holes. We just going to take a player. Then take Najee Harris at freaking 7-2. Because Lord knows we don't need a running back, right? It doesn't make sense. You got to fill the hole that you have. It's absolutely the same thing.
It's not. There's a whole. You must have missed the whole part about salary and stuff about that.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't care about the salary. You know why I don't care about the salary? Because at the end of the day, my salary because at the end of the day, my salary is going to go towards me filling the hole. Period. If you're sitting up there right now, because we're doing what ifs, right? So if we're doing what ifs, let's say we're doing the same what ifs, and we got Aaron Donald and Travis Lawrence sitting there. You're just gonna pass on Trevor Lawrence, even you're gonna take Trevor Lawrence over Aaron Donald because you want a quarterback over the fact that we need a deep tackle.
Yes, because a rookie quarterback on a team-friendly deal is you're way more likely to win a Super Bowl than paying Jared Goff $20 million. And that's just the facts. Look at
how many quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl on a rookie deal?
Russell Wilson was one.
Mahomes.
Ben Roethlisberger was one. Patrick Mahomes was one.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And again, too, the thing about a rookie deal is let's go back to the term I said, team-friendly contract, right? So there's guys that again, guys that you're not going to win paying a guy $20 million. The only people who have done that, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Is Jared Goff Peyton Manning and Tom Brady? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me the opportunity at the cap space to build an entire team. Because even if he's not the guy I draft, even if he's not Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, or Tom Brady, I have the cap space to do what the Rams did with Jared Goff. I build a whole fucking roster of soldiers around him.
I recant and I concede. I pray to God that the Lions take a quarterback at 7. I pray to God.
Right now.
You know why? Because the same way, like I told y'all before, that you don't keep this dumb lame duck head coach for a third year. People were saying the opposite. We gonna follow the same suit, because just for the record, you wanted to keep him for a third year, right? Easy.
Yeah, I thought.
And hold on, wait a minute. And you wanted Stafford going, yes or no? Right?
I want a rookie. I want a team.
No, you wanted. Did you want Stafford going? Yes or no?
I want Stafford going on.
Thank you. Now that we got that out the way, that he wanted Stafford going. He wanted Patricia for a third year. I pray to God.
I want Stafford's contract going.
I pray to God we get a quarterback. I pray to God.
So just because obviously I know we've talked about this a while, we're gonna have to let you guys do a debate part 2 because it's getting late. So Luke, what are your final thoughts, man? I hate to cut you guys off because
you're good, man. But you got a life.
Yeah, no, we good.
We all got life, man. Nobody mad.
I find it to be swift and peaceful. People, there are many times that you're going to see things that's right there in front of you. Do not believe your eyes. Okay, do not believe your eyes. The moment you start to believe what you see is the moment you will be faked out every single time. Go by what you know, okay? Because what you know is what is happening ain't always the possibility of being the truth. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all hit that like, subscribe button. Please check out Manscaped because Manscaped needs some love, and we know some of y'all run around here looking like Craven the Hunt, okay? So handle that, all right? Handle that. And as always, don't be no chump. Please do your research.
Easy, what's your final thoughts, man?
Detroit Lions. Yeah. Draft Trigger Trey. If he's there, do it. That's my final thought.
All right. Yeah, guys, it's always been fun talking about, the Lions and what we can do. It'll be more exciting come April, when we have a little bit more information in terms of Golly's contract and everything. But I'm going to try and be a little bit more active on the stream. So definitely tune in. And like Luke said, we got this promo code 20% off at Manscaped. So if you want, check it out, put our promo code in real. You get free shipping and 20% off. Other than that, it was a lot of fun, and we'll catch you next time.